Matt and Nick keep Boba Fett in the spotlight with multiple new topics about his upcoming book. They'll detail how the trailers have only shown off the first part of the first episode, which apparently has a mega moment in store for its second half. They'll talk about the mayor and how he may play into Boba's plans. A few new teasers will be broken down to squeeze any juice out of the few new scenes showcased, and they'll also remind you of their plot predictions yet again. It's not all Boba all the time, as Andor and the Ahsoka series will also be discussed before the show finishes with this week's fan segment, including the latest round of Top 5 featured artist honorees. Punch it, Chewie! All right. And here we go! Hey now, everybody! Oh, whoa, wow, hold on. Reboot. Hey now, everybody! Welcome to the Star Wars Time Show. It's Matt, it's Nick, and no, we do not have our festive outfits on. Screw Christmas, we've canceled it, right? It's the war on Christmas starts right here at the Star Wars Time Show. Except if we're waging a war on Christmas, I shouldn't be saying Christmas, right?
I know, right?
Is that how it goes?
I'm not sure exactly. You know, this is our first war on Christmas, so we got a lot to learn. We got to call Bill O'Reilly and see what our talking
That's
points
what
are.
I was talking about. Like, yeah, Christmas. You're dead, motherfucker.
Oh, man.
Dude. Speaking of wars on shit, and I don't want to go too deep into this, but I know Nick. You know, he kind of has a blackout policy on social media throughout the week, and I kind of spoon feed him stuff on Tuesdays to keep him somewhat in the know, right? To keep his pop culture quotient high. But last week, you know, we talked about Star Wars Eclipse and some of the juju woo-woo stuff around David Cage and whatnot, and then I think it was Thursday of last week, there was a coordinated hashtag put out, Blackout the Eclipse or some shit like that, where gaming media and other Star Wars fan sites and personalities are like, we will not cover this game until David Cage is removed. And I'm like, okay. Let me preface this so I don't get myself in trouble. First and foremost, I think people that think like David Cage are scumbags. 100%. Pieces of shit. I don't tolerate that type of stuff. But let's really break down what this boycott is. It's odd because if these people are so up in arms about one man in this game studio, Quantic Dreams, making a Star Wars game, where's all the outrage for Ubisoft making a Star Wars game? Where's all the outrage for Activision's titles they released this year? Anyone see what's going on at Activision with Bobby Kotick? I mean, come on.
I do know that specifically the Blizzard side of things has been a complete free fall. I don't know about Activision because I don't play Activision.
It's the same company though. I mean, they're all ran by the same guy. It's just like, and like I said, Nick, I don't want to get mixed up in all this social justice stuff, but it's like, and I hate saying this word because it's a favorite of the far right, but I really felt like this blackout Star Wars Eclipse thing, this movement is virtue signaling. Okay. It's like, come on. If you're going to get on that high horse, I want to see the hashtags for Ubisoft Star Wars game when it's officially announced and anything that Activision may do with Star Wars or video games in general. Like, let's be real. If we're all going to sit here and pile on Quantic and this David guy, let's do it for real. Boycott anything Activision puts out. Take your Call of Duty right now and light that fucker on fire. Because he's mean to women. He doesn't pay his people right. What? Come on. Why aren't we going after these other studios? I know why. It's because they didn't just get this big Star Wars PR punch. That's why. So let's be real. And really, if you want to go, I'm not standing up for David Cage, but if you read the fine lines, the guy went to court and had most of the stuff dropped against him. All right? That's not to say he's not a piece of shit. Where there's smoke, there is fire with people like him, okay? But let's go. Let's get real. If you're really going to sit there and black out the eclipse, all these gaming journalists, let's see IGN and everyone else drop coverage of all things Activision and Ubisoft too. Come on.
I think they should. I know that Activision and Blizzard is basically dead to the gaming universe. Blizzard specifically, like.
And this wasn't my idea, Nick. I follow a crazy former game dev on Twitter, David Jaffe, who created God of War. I actually like the guy. He created Twisted Metal, a lot of good stuff back in the 90s, early 2000s. But he's the one that kind of tweeted out. He's like, yo, David Cage, fuck him. And we feel the same way over here. But he's like, where's all the outrage for Ubisoft landing a new Star Wars title? And I was like, you know what? That's a good fucking point. It's like, I don't know. I mean, sometimes people latch on movements.
Once it gets the big announcement, I think that they'll definitely be.
I hope so. If they do, then fine. I'm all for that. Go ahead and black out this, that, and the other thing. I just thought it was odd that out of nowhere, everyone's just piling on this game because of this guy. And you know what? This guy probably shouldn't have got the opportunity, but where's the ire at Lucasfilm Games for making that fucking choice?
Oh, look. Speaking of Ubisoft, 25 minutes ago, Game Informer, a new report has detailed what is reportedly an employee exodus happening within Ubisoft.
Okay, thank you. So in the end, all of gaming sucks. Like I tried to say last week, and I'm sure I sounded stupid. A lot of people at the top levels of any type of business are probably shitty. Watch Succession. That's how I believe most CEOs at large corporations probably are. And it's true. So let's talk about something fun, though, and that's Spider-Man No Way Motherfucking Home. All right?
Yes, indeed.
And we're not going to blow spoilers down your throat, so be careful. But I would like to say, if you're someone that is that concerned with spoilers for stuff, you probably shouldn't wait, 4 or 5 days at this point? Especially in the 21st century with everyone, their social media and people purposely trying to spoil, but we're not going to do it for you. I actually didn't even think Nick saw it yet, so I already had planned to get spoiler-y on Spider-Man No Way Home, so I'll still maintain that mantra. But Nick, I have to say, I don't know if it is the greatest comic book movie ever made, but it's definitely in the top 2, in my opinion. For a singular character, it's easily the greatest, like, just non-ensemble comic book movie ever made. Yep. And for 20 years of Spider-Man movie making, this movie just pulls off miracle after miracle after miracle.
Yeah, I definitely think it's the best Spider-Man out of all of them, not just the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies or anything linked to the MCU. I think, like, even going back to, I think it was 2003, the first Spider-Man release, it's the best one. I think it incorporates, and here's the thing, this is a 2.5 hour long movie that moves quickly.
Oh yeah.
Like there's so many elements that are incorporated in this film that it does feel like you're moving at a fast pace throughout, even though it is a long runtime. And that was awesome, because when I looked at it, I was like, man, Dune is like 2 hours and 35, and Spider-Man No Way Home's like 2:28. I was like, I can't believe these two movies have very similar runtimes. But then after seeing Spider-Man, I was like, okay, like I feel like you couldn't have cut time in this film. I feel like you needed pretty much all of the time it had, and they used it really well. I thought that the characters were fantastic, bringing in the villains that they did, bringing in the other heroes that they did. I mean, everything about it was really kind of top notch for me, for sure.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, Bat thinks we're full of shit, but hey, guess what? That's what opinions are, buddy. They're like assholes. Everyone's got one, and they all stink, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, like I said, the level of fan service it pays for 20 years of Spider-Man cinema is ridiculous. It's definitely a theater experience. I mean, we had people fucking cheering, clapping, yelling, hooting, hollering, crying, sobbing, laughing. I was doing them all. I mean, my kid kept looking at me like, you pussy, you limp dick, loser. It's just a Spider-Man movie. Snap out of it, bub. But there's some moments that hit, and they hit. I think you don't really see them coming, although they make sense when they do play out in the movie. But it's up there, man. I still think like the Infinity War Endgame is some magic, just what they did with 18 or 19 movies prior, and I think even more than that, and then tying them all together in a perfect little bow and completely ending years worth of storytelling and then kicking off a new phase of the MCU. And then obviously the nostalgic shit like 89 Batman and Christopher Reeve's Superman, those are always going to be special to me for more nostalgic and father-son type of reasons than quality. While they're still pretty damn good, but I don't know, man. I just feel like No Way Home and what it was asked to do and what it did, it paid off on all fronts. And I'm excited for what it kicks off for Doctor Strange moving forward into his film. It continued on. This isn't a spoiler because they showed it in the trailers, but it's obviously continuing the multiverse in Phase 4 of the MCU, which I'm just digging. I've dug it since it kicked off, and I guess Loki technically, and then What If got into even more, playing with it even more, and obviously No Way Home brings it to the MCU cinema space at least. And now Strange is going to be, this isn't a spoiler, the second stinger scene is a teaser for Doctor Strange 2, and I really am intrigued with where that movie's going. So I don't know, I loved it. I highly recommend if you can get out. I would say be safe about it. Obviously, we're like Tone said, they're probably going to get locked down in the UK now because of Omicron. I know it's raging over here, so if you're not tripled up, I don't know. You might not want to fuck with stuff these days. But Spider-Man: No Way Home is a fantastic cinema experience, and I am definitely going to go check it out one more time in theaters. Maybe get the wife out there or my old dear mother who is coming to town and hopefully will not get infected on the plane and then kill my family.
It's wild, dude. Like looking at the scores for this movie, it has a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes for the audience score. Like that is insane. Right. And then the actual critic review is 94%.
Okay, like, so the critic dropped a bit because I believe critic initially opened at 99 too.
Yeah, so it's 94 now.
He probably had like the guy from the New Yorker that's, I can't believe we're watching another Spider-Man movie. Where's West Side Story 2? Damn it. It's like, come on, people. Well, why you reviewing pop culture fiction movies if you want to be a serious like critic? You know what I mean? I always hate those fucks.
Definitely go see it. I mean, it was... And look, people will have their own differing opinions on it, but I think if anything, it's a good conversational piece because of all the elements that are in it. Like there's a lot of talk now, and I mean, this is no spoiler, but there's a lot of talk now, and you've probably seen the buzz, like people want a third Amazing Spider-Man movie. Amazing Spider-Man was the one with Andrew Garfield in it. They're like, okay, well, we saw this, now we want to see Amazing Spider-Man 3.
It's funny. I mean, and these are probably the same people during the Amazing runs were like, fuck this, just cancel it so we can get Spider-Man in the MCU, you dickheads. You know how fans are. I mean, look at me. Yeah. I'm a jerk. I'm not as like I get worked up. I'm not like a super angry Star Wars fan. I just get worked up. But you know how fandoms get. It's just no one knows what they want until it's given to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where I really enjoyed the Amazing Spider-Man. I know that there were some offbeats and, it wasn't perfect, the two movies that came out, but I genuinely thought that Garfield played a good
I was definitely sad when they ended his run, and maybe one day he'll get to do it again, but it was good. And hey, we got a lot of good movies this week coming out too. You might be able to sneak out to Reload, Matrix I keep calling it Reloaded.
Yeah, I know.
Matrix Resurrections or Insurrections, Erections drops tomorrow, the 22nd. The Kingsman is out this week. I think early screenings are starting today. If you got kids, I know Sing 2 is coming out this week. And I don't know. I still want to go see West Side Story. It's like the older I get, the more I'm into musicals, and I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know if it's because my daughter paints my toenails here and there, but I dig that type of shit. Like I want to watch Garfield in the story of the guy that wrote Rent, and like I've never even seen Rent, don't give a shit about Rent, but it's a musical, and I think Lin-Manuel did it, so I want to watch it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean I definitely want to see it because it's Spielberg. It's an iconic story. I mean, in the reviews for it are fantastic, but it just completely bombed at the box office, which isn't a surprise. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. People are like comparing it to Dear Evan Hansen, which I think was another like musical movie that flopped too. It's just, it's not a movie. I mean, I want to see it. I know it's going to be great. I don't remember the original West Side Story, but it's Steven Spielberg, so I mean he's just someone like a Tom Cruise or The Rock where I'm just going to go. If they're involved, I'm going to go, or I'm at least going to check it out. But yeah, I heard that too, buddy. It fizzled out. Unlike No Way Home, which Nick was telling me, and I read it earlier, it during a pandemic, it beat openings for all movies but Endgame, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah,
it was
that is crazy.
The second highest grossing opening week of all time.
Yeah, beat Force Awakens record, beat Infinity Wars record. I just, we were talking about this too. I don't remember there being so much hype around Spider-Man ever. I don't know if I was just tuned out of it and was just, MCU's MCU, people are going to go, but I don't remember this much hype for a singular character, so good for all of them. I believe, I don't know if it's official, but I believe Tom has been asked or at least signed to do another 3 Spidey films now that Sony and Marvel have ironed out their differences, and Amy and Kevin are best friends and no longer throwing sandwiches at each other. Look it up. True story. All right. Yep. No spoilers.
So go check it out.
You guys got to watch that. We can't monitor the chat. If people are in the chat spoiling wrenches, you know what to do. I can't. Remember last week or 2 weeks ago when Tones was here giving me links in the chat and I started crashing the show? I can't do 2 things at once. So please.
Try to keep it spoiler free for Spider-Man for now. I mean, we're less than a week out from release, so give people a little bit more time. So, but yeah, that's our full kind of review of it.
Yeah, there really wasn't much in pop culture that popped. I'm still going through Halo and digging it. I've been dragging my feet though because I got that new receiver last week, Nick, and I have not installed it yet. So
didn't do it yet.
It's okay that I'm kind of holding back, but I'm really starting to feel the push to get that thing installed and wired so I can get back to some Dolby Atmos Halo Infinite.
I played some more. Definitely enjoying it a little bit more. The open world definitely is a little bit more alive once you start getting a little further into it.
Yeah.
I still haven't done. I mean, I guess it's like the second story mission, right? I mean, it's hard to. I mean, I guess it's a third or fourth story mission, but whatever. It's
Have you gone in the tunnel yet? Like, I think that's like one of the main where you're like you go down underground into a cave system, then you come back out of this Forerunner structure and you meet the. What the hell's her name? The Harbinger for the first time.
Okay, no. So I haven't done that yet. Yeah.
So you're exploring. You're gearing up. You're rescuing UNSCers, right? You're taking out targets and getting new weapons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting with this game because I feel like and this can be said for any open world game. I feel like there's a huge difference with this one though. If you go through and you just do the story missions versus other games, because I can see how, like one of the things that I saw somebody say was like, I love the game, I love the open world, the story was like a little lacking, and I can kind of see that because
I'm
there's so
feeling
much,
that too at this point.
Yeah, there's so much emphasis on exploration of Zeta Halo that like there's almost no story being told. Like I've probably played this game for like 4 hours.
Hey, you're not wrong, dude. If you do not engage in the main missions outside of picking up audio tapes, which are like the only 2 things that aren't marked on the fucking map. There is no story. I mean, there's none. The audio tapes, if you do find some, do start filling in the gaps with what happened from the opening scene, which again takes like you're dropped into a story that's already happening. You don't really know what the fuck's going on, and through the campaign, you're slowly learning a bit more about what is taking place on Zeta Halo. But you're 100% right. I mean, there's no collectibles to read. You got to find the audios, and if you don't find the audios, you don't get any updates on the story until you do a main mission. That's it.
Yeah.
Even the weapon will sit there. Like when I do a main mission, and then I'll open, because we talked about this with Ghost. It's ADD. It's like, okay, look at I got to get that on the map. Oh, there's something on the map. Got to go there. Got to get it. And you're bouncing around 2 hours later, like, oh shit, I want to go to bed. Or
I know that,
but the weapon's sitting there, like, hey chief, do you want to go do this yet and learn what's happening? Hey chief, shouldn't we go check this out? I'm like, fuck you. Yeah. I'm just walking around finding stuff.
It's the curse of open world games, and open world games are probably the ones that I've started the most and then finished the least.
Yeah,
because
that's fair.
I'm so distracted. Like I wish, like Horizon Zero Dawn, I probably put 20 hours in that game, easy, 25 almost, and I still haven't finished the
exact
story.
Same experience there. And the intern's like, dude, this is one of the greatest games ever made, and I'm not denying them. I think the story. And I feel like this point, Nick, I don't know if you're the same way. I think I'm just going to have to find like a recap of the story before the second one comes out. Cause I know there's no way I'm ever going to finish Horizon. I'm not going to do it. It's just not going to happen.
That's like, I picked it up a little bit more a couple of months ago, progressed through the story a little bit further. I'm going to try to finish it before the second one comes up, but it's going to be difficult because with a game like it's so easy to get distracted, like you said.
It's rare. I think that's why Ghost, we loved it so much, because that was like one of the first open world games in a long, long time. I think Far Cry 3 was the last, probably, where I did every fucking single thing you could do and loved it. I was like, I couldn't get enough. And when I was done, I played the multiplayer for another month or two and loved the hell out of that. I mean, I missed that game, but I'm an old man. I have limited game time. You got to move on. You got to play games from 10 years old for half the year, and then Halo. And that's pretty much what I did this year.
The best descriptor, the best comparison that I can make for Halo versus Ghost is that with Ghost, similar open world vibe for sure, like lots of missions to do, just like regular open world games. But for me, for Ghosts, doing those side missions, doing those character oriented missions with like, you know, your archery master, and then the drunk guy, and then with Yuna and all of them, it felt meaningful.
Well, you were like getting story layers added in too.
Yeah, exactly. Hey. So like, I just wish there was a little bit more, like when you take an installation, not necessarily a fob, but like when you take one of those big keeps, like I feel like there should be something that happens other than just like, okay, it's not purple on your map anymore.
Right.
Like
almost like you find another Spartan carcass and you get like some important audio from that Spartan, you know, they're tracking Atriox or Escharum. Yeah, I know what you mean. Hey, you know, last week I was busting your balls. I still highly enjoy Halo Infinite, but it's not Ghost, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be. But for a Halo shooter, it's changed enough that I thoroughly enjoy the changes for the franchise, and I'm hoping to get a little more out of the story, but from what I've read, the little dingleberries out there, it's not quite like a Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, and even Halo. I still personally think Halo 4 had the best story.
Where Halo 4 was...
They folded in the Forerunners with, what's his name? Fuckface? What the hell was his name? Damn it!
I can't remember now. It's been so...
He was married to the librarian. What the fuck was his name? I just sent Nick a 40-minute video, a recap of Halo so far, and I think I watched it twice, and I still can't remember it. Come on, McFly! All right, whatever. I'll give up. All right, dude, let's talk some Star Wars. The fans are getting restless. I before we get into this first Boba story, I have to say, and I dropped this in the Discord. Remember, if you want to join the Discord, I think we have an open invite link in our Instagram profile at Star Wars Time Show. Optimus Crime joined this morning, a longtime super fan, a hat purchaser. It was nice to see him in Discord. But over there, I did let them know that, Nick, today, when I was making my rounds on Reddit leaks, Book of Boba Fett plot dump. Straight up plot dump. And there was another one about an OT character making an appearance. And here's the deal. Like I have professed previously on this humble little podcast, I was never going to read that shit again after what Nick and I did with The Rise of Skywalker. It's terrible. It's like, Tross wasn't good, but knowing the entire plot made it even worse.
Yeah.
And there's something similar going on right now with the Book of Boba Fett, but the motherfucking mods on the homepage didn't blur it out. They like when it's stuff like that, they usually at least put the title and then you have to click, or they blur shit out. So as I'm scrolling through, I'm pretty good at reading lines going by fast. I've trained my brain to do it through all these years staring at a fucking computer screen.
Yeah.
It right there. It's like blah, 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 blue is blah, blah, blee, blah, and blickety blue, blue. And I'm like, oh, fuck. It's like, oh, no.
Don't worry, we're not going to go into any details of the plot leak on the episode. So
this is all I'll say. This is all I'll say. I'm feeling better this week about the hard stand I took. Hell, the stumping I did for my plot predictions than I did last week. So if you're a longtime fan and listener, you can probably connect the dots. But I'm feeling a lot better today than I did last week about some of my big time predictions. So much so that if it goes down, I am going on a victory tour. I want people to book me on your fucking Instagram lives, your shittier YouTube live streams than our own, because I'm going to go around and crow like the narcissist douche that I am. All right?
Hey. You got to pick the dubs.
You just wait. You just wait and see, because if it hits like it's looking like it might hit, I am a motherfucking Star Wars speculation savant. All right, I already have a lot of wins on my belt. Go ask Figure fucking Hurts, who predicted the end of The Mandalorian season 2 after the first episode. Me. All right,
it's true.
Who predicted all that stuff about Omega and the Bad Batch? Me. Now we'll find out next Wednesday if some of these Book of Bobas are going to pay off. You just wait. I think this is it, Nick. I think this is where we finally break. I think this is where we finally go viral, because someone's going to be like, look at this jerk off who thinks that he's special, speculating stuff that no one really cares about outside of Star Wars fans. What I think what I'm missing, like one of us needs to be either like super, super fat, right? Because that usually works to go viral online.
Full neck beard.
or like, you know, some other type of physical oddity. I mean, I guess I could stand up for shows and show people that I'm short. Maybe that would work. I don't know.
One eye. Yeah, just one of us starts wearing an eye patch.
Yeah, I'm just going to stab my eye out for Star Wars. The sad thing is I probably would have at one point in time. I don't know about these days, but I might have in the past. But no, I'm feeling a little bit better after these leaks. But don't go over to Reddit leaks. It's bad. I mean, it's like right out there in the open. They just barfed it up, and I cannot believe the mods did not try to gate it at some point. But it sounds like someone has the full plot dump. But luckily, we don't have to worry about plot dumps, because we have articles that are about Robert Rodriguez. And he actually, Nick, he put out some interesting things to think about in a big article from, I think, THR. One of them, we got a character confirmation, which adds a little light to the whole scenario. And that's the fact that if you're on the live stream, the Ithorian that we have seen and heard about months ago through Reddit leaks is called the Mayor. And he is voiced by Robert Rodriguez himself. So as I tried to tell some of you when the first trailer came out, no, that was not Din Djarin. It was actually Robert himself as the Mayor. So he's also voicing another character, but they did not reveal who the other character was. I thought that was interesting. So I'm assuming that could be one of these big surprises he also teed up in this article, because he says Rodriguez wound up directing nearly half of the episodes himself. 3 of the big ones, in quotes. A lot of big ones, a lot of like, oh my goodness, I can't believe they let us do this type of shit. So if you're not excited, you should be. It's time to start popping those chubs. But yeah, he voiced the Mayor and then another character. So I'll be interested to see who this other character is. It could be a big one that needs a voice rather than a flesh and blood actor.
Yeah.
So why Boba Fett? All right. Robert's a guy, he's been on record saying like, listen, I don't do franchises. Fuck that shit. Unless I create them like Spy Kids, he's not touching them. But I put this in the article just to be a shithead with Boba Fett, because you know how I am. But just listen to what Robert says. And this goes back to my point that I've been making for years now on this dumb little show. So this is Robert's words himself and why he decided, yeah, you know what? I will get in with a franchise type of genre show here. All right. So as I said, fans of our show may find his response comical. So here we go. That changed with Boba because he was a character that was always undeserved, right? Meaning he didn't deserve all the praise that people gave him. That's just one shot. It was a character way more popular. Now I sound like a dope. Way more popular than he should have been based on his limited screen time. So it's almost like starting with an original character. You can kind of do anything you want so long as you make him cool and don't make him a buffoon. All right? Do we need any more evidence that Boba Fett in the original trilogy was a douche? Anybody? Okay.
There you go.
I rest my case. Yeah, Thank you.
I think Robert has the final say here, and I think he's right.
I even think Filoni said that Boba is a bozo in the original movies. This I found to be extremely interesting, and I cannot wait for the 29th. Not that, I wasn't getting antsy, but so far, the trailers we have seen, Nick, have only shown the first part of episode 1. That's it.
Yeah,
that's the only content
we're
that has
not
been
getting
shown.
anything past episode 1 in these trailers.
But it's not even it's not even past the first part of episode 1. Because here's what he said: the producers have only revealed footage from the 7-episode season's opening minutes. Opening minutes. That's all. We've only seen like maybe the first 20 to 30 minutes, 20 to 50, or 15 to 20 minutes of the potential first episode in the trailers. And here's what he says of why they've done this. We can't use the second half of the first episode because it gives so much away. Wow.
When you think about it, you only have 7 episodes of the season. So like, if you do give away, if you open up and your trailers have 1 full episode in it, that's a big chunk of your season. In teasers. Trailers.
Mando was 8 episodes, and I believe its main trailers went through the first three episodes.
Because you saw the ice cavern stuff, and that was
and the water.
3.
Yeah, you saw the water planet too, where they went and where Frog Lady went. So I don't know. That's he's pretty much saying like, listen, people. Yeah, 7 episodes, whatever. 1 less than Mando. Who cares? Who's keeping score? But the reason we've only been able to show you the first part of episode 1 is because the rest of the series is going to fucking blow your socks off. And if we showed it to you, we'd literally be blowing our wad in a trailer just for the first episode. So like, Nick, do you think that, is that the Rancor moment we've talked about? Is that second half? Is that the potential arrival of who I'm speculating to be the big bad, Crimson Dawn and Lady Kira in the first episode already? Bosk showing up? What could be so major in the second half of episode 1 that they dare not even share parts of it in a teaser trailer?
It has to be a character reveal or something like the Rancor reveal. It has to be something to that level, because there's no, I don't think that there's any individual plot detail that is going to be in the second part of season 1 or of episode 1 that would really, I guess it would. I guess so. I guess
if you get a shot of Amelia, who hasn't been announced at all, true. People would be like, "Oh fuck!" I'm like, "Wow, I can't believe that showed up in a trailer."
So that's what I think. That's why I think it's a character reveal.
Yeah,
like it has to be a character.
Cad Bane.
What Cad,
Han
Rancor,
Solo.
Amelia.
Gregu's not wrong. Let's think about Han Solo in the Book of Boba Fett and Chewie. It's like, is there a better cameo? It's almost, we could almost have a Luke Skywalker moment technically.
The only problem that I have with Han being in this is then you start to get a little disassociative with timeline because of Alden playing Han.
Oh, well, no. Because we still had Harrison Ford post Alden's. Oh, you're talking about if they brought Alden to play Han and not
exactly
and not do like the CG Hamill with CG Ford.
Yeah, like because I think if they're gonna bring in one, I don't think that even for a second Harrison Ford would entertain the idea of doing it. Like I think he's right.
You know what, buddy?
Done.
I mean, you sound like a young Matt Haywood from almost 2 years ago now, making bold proclamations about there's no fucking way they're bringing Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker to the Mando. So while I'm not going to disagree with you, I can't go down that path anymore because Filoni and Favreau have shown us that they don't give a fuck what we think
true.
Or what we speculate on who's going to take what paydays to show up. So
I mean, it would take balls to say like, okay, we just did Luke Skywalker, so guess what? We're just going to do it again with Han Solo.
Yeah.
We're going to
It would be
that would be a surprise.
I think, if they are trying to, I don't want to say fully humanize Boba Fett. I think if you bring in one of his biggest rivals and they somehow either hit it off or have to team up for something. And if we are talking about Lady Kira coming in, Han Solo, right? I mean, yeah, we're talking some great storytelling here, like some Solo payoff possibly in the book of Boba Fett. So I don't know. It just like we'll keep going on with the article because I mean Rodriguez just keeps hyping and hyping and hyping, and I don't think it's overhyped. That's the best part. I really don't. So here, fusing the old with the new in big surprises. So again, just listen to what the man has to say here, and then let your imagination start to wonder. Boba gives us a direct connection to the Star Wars saga since he was involved in that story. This creates a nice crossover point for both classic characters and new characters. Much of The Mandalorian was new or had not been seen on screen. Through Boba Fett, we can weave some of those characters and tales together using a character we know but don't know a lot about. That was from Dave Filoni, okay? Then Rodriguez says that the character specifically invites a whole world from the underworld in with him. Things turn up you don't expect. You see things we couldn't believe we got to do. Every episode has big surprises. I mean, come on.
It's definitely character related. And in the way that he put that, the specifically invites a whole world from the underworld in with him. I mean, it's a character that does more than what you could do in Solo. Because while Solo was kind of mixed up in the underworld to a degree, he wasn't like as embedded in it as Boba is, especially not in like the darker, seedier sides of it. Like Han was dabbling in smuggling and he was working with a crew. Yes, but like once you get down into like we're killing people for money, we're bounty hunters.
Yeah, he didn't fuck with that.
He didn't really get that far in. So like with Boba, you get to explore a whole different side of the Star Wars underworld that we haven't really been able to delve into. Not even in The Mandalorian. I mean, because like The Mandalorian, yeah, we touched on the bounty hunting aspect of it,
but that's not
a few episodes. But
I mean, I guess this is a good question. Since bounty hunters are of a guild, and they take bounties from the New Republic or the Empire, whoever, are bounty hunters technically even Underworld, though, right? I mean, to me, Underworld are the people that may hire bounty hunters, but I don't consider bounty hunters to be attached to the Underworld like a Crimson Dawn, like the Pikes, like the Black Sun, or like the Hutts.
I would consider it still Underworld because nobody is like people from the New Republic don't just have like, it's not like laissez-faire to be like, oh yeah, I just hired a bounty hunter to kill that guy or to do something. Like it's still bad. Like it's still like, this is the very last thing that I can do.
Right.
As, like for evil, they don't give a fuck.
They don't
know. But for the good guys,
technically, you don't have to kill not a bounty isn't always death. I mean, even Mithril, he brings in Frozen and there you go. So I guess, in terms of the bounty hunter guild in our traditional underworld entities in Star Wars, I don't put them in the same universe. Bounty hunters are the anti-heroes, where the underworld, they're just shitheads. They're evil, right? They work they do evil shit. They work for evil. They'll do whatever they can to make a buck and get more power. Where bounty hunters, I do believe, have some sort of code. It's been talked about in the Mando. It's been talked about in more of the bounty hunters. And kind of back to the Boba Han thing, Boba has the utmost respect for Han Solo. So much so that he hates him and thought Jabba should have killed the motherfucker. I mean, that when Boba hands it over at the end of War of the Bounty Hunters, he's like, dude, what are you going to do with him? You just going to take him out? And Jabba's like, I'm going to hang him on my wall because I'm a cocky asshole, right? And Boba's like, man, if I were you, I'd just kill him. He's like, Han Solo is not someone you ever want coming back around. So
yeah, exactly. You don't want him to hang around. And he paid for it in the end.
You know what, Tones? And this is where the comics and why I feel compelled to read them these days, but they could be setting up Shiza up for a return, because they ushered him in name only back in the canon in the last episode, well, in the first issue of Crimson Reign. So who knows? I mean, when you have a line like invites a whole world from the underworld in with them, okay, are we going to get Pikes in there? Have we seen live action Pikes? I don't believe so. Have we? I don't think so. No. I don't think we've seen live action Black Sun. I mean, the only live action Syndicate I believe we've seen would be Hutt or Crimson Dawn.
Yeah, Hutt's and Crimson Dawn.
So I don't know.
Unless there was like somebody that was unnamed in the original trilogy,
right?
That's like the only option. It's like you have an unnamed whoever who was a part of that Syndicate.
It's a bunch of McClunky.
Yeah.
All right, so a few more things here from this was a great article, by the way. It was just a little too much reading. Like, I got angry at myself that I was reading so much. I mean, I even had to like copy and paste quotes so I remember them. So Boba's challenges here, and this is again from Robert. Boba bites off more than he can chew, and we definitely do not make it easy for him. It's easy to sit on the throne. It's not easy to stay on. So what's it like for a bounty hunter to have to suddenly become a leader? Where's the push and pull in that? What is he trying to become? We really go in depth into the character.
Yeah. And that was always a big question with the final scene in Mando season 2, like the stinger that sets up Book is like, all right, what is his plan?
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like he just walks into Jabba's palace, wastes everybody for like revenge. Like, no, he does that because he has something that he's trying to accomplish. And I think that's what this season is it's going to show you the evolution of the character beyond just, all right, give me the puck. Let me go get my bounty.
You're right. And I honestly think Boba Fett fanboys may ultimately be turned off by the show when it's all said and done. Because I do think, and even Tem himself, I think it was last week we talked about it. Even Tem was pushing back at times, like, "Hey guys, like, are we showing a little too much?" Remember, this is a man of mystery. This is the man with the spurs that clink and says, 2 words in 2 films. Like, chill out. But what Nick's saying, I do think this is Boba's kind of resurgence into the galaxy as a new version of himself, both in universe and for fans. Like, when this is all said and done, Boba Fett will be a fundamentally different character than he ever was going into it. Yeah. I'm excited for it because I've enjoyed the Neo Fett era. But I even believe in our question a week, we got some comments of the tone of, I don't care what you do, just don't fuck with my man. Just keep him a badass. Keep him a man of few words. Like that sentiment, like, don't screw with my guy.
Yeah, it's inevitable that you're gonna have some of your preconceived ideas of Boba Fett shattered through this show. So just be prepared for that. Like, you can't center a show around a character who doesn't talk. Like, let's just be real about that. Like, he has to talk. Like, okay, let me give you this example. Like, you're watching Wheel of Time. So, like, you probably...
I'm not caught up, so I did not watch last week's.
Okay, no spoilers, but, like, Taylor essentially told me, she's like, Lan, the guy who is Moraine's, like, Warder. Her bodyguard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Warder, says he doesn't talk in the books. Like, he literally was described early on as the strong silent type, and he basically just doesn't speak.
I could see that, yeah.
But in the show,
he's a blabbermouth.
Yeah, like when you have a main character of that level of importance, they can't just not talk.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like off topic, the one episode where it's the funeral for another warder, where like he's freaking out and then they all start doing this.
Yeah.
That got me fucking fired up. I was like, yeah, I started hitting my chest. Like, I want to fucking go protect some people now and stab people with knives and shit. I was like, that is kick ass.
It's cool. And then, so it's only an 8-episode season too. So next week is the
really?
finale. Yeah. So it's 8 episodes first season, and then it'll come back.
What's this 8-episode bullshit that Disney Plus started? Come on. Like 10, it should be 10 men.
Yeah. 10 That's men. Why I thought it was 10. I thought it was 10.
That's why Foundation gets an even bigger kiss on the lips from me. It stuck to 10 episodes. They're all close to an hour and a piece. Told a beautiful story that opened up a whole can of worms for season 2. Still one of my favorite shows of 2021. All right, back to Boba Fett.
So, but yeah, I think that Boba, he's going to have to be more verbose. He's going to have to be different than what you have perceived him to be from the original trilogy and from what little time we had with him in the Mando. Like, he's going to be a different character. That was the whole purpose of that stinger, is to show fans that, like, hey, the Boba Fett that you knew before is going through a massive life change now, whether it be just because he survived his Sarlacc pit ordeal and is now out. And, you know, add on top of that, he's clearly looking to do something a little bit more grandiose with his life than just be a bounty hunter.
That's it right there. He now wants to be a player versus someone that players hire. He wants to fill this void that has been left by Jabba, but as we've heard through the trailers, he wants to do it a different way. Yeah. He doesn't want to be a Maul. He doesn't want to be a Jabba. He wants to be a Boba. Kind of sounds like a song, right? He doesn't want to be a Maul. He doesn't want to be a Jabba. He just wants to be a Boba. He just wants to be a Boba. All right.
It's the beginning of like a 70s or 80s like
sitcom or something. Like Three's Company or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, we got clarification from the Peanut Gallery. There were pikes in Solo. Thank you. Thank you, mistress. Thank you. Oh, sorry. I was listening to Howard earlier. I've got some sound drops stuck in my head. Like 4 inches is fine, but Nick and I have always known that, right?
Yes.
That's what whenever we used to go out and try to date, that is how we'd open up the conversation. We'd be like, 4 inches is fine though, right? And they'd be like, yeah. And it's like, okay, we can keep talking.
We're in good.
All right. Okay. And then the last thing here, and I think this is going to be a no-brainer unless we have another like TLJ revolt of Solo. But when asked, you know, the series currently isn't greenlit for more than one season. But Rodriguez is saying here, if people really love it, I'm sure they'd want to make more. It's like, if Disney likes money, they'll make more stuff that makes more money. And yes, you are right, Mr. Rodriguez. So, which is cool. I mean, I've said it in the past. I'll take as much Star Wars as you can give me, even the bad shit. I'll go through it. I may not like it, but I'll still consume it and feel like a good human for doing it. I think if this gets any sort of buzz like Mando did, it's probably a no-brainer. If anything, he may be folded back into Mando much more than they may have initially planned.
That's what I was going to say, is depending on what the plans are for this universe. I mean, basically what you've built is just like another little subsection of the Star Wars universe.
You're right. It's the Mandoverse. It's the Mandoverse, 100%.
Exactly. So like, depending on what you want to do, like it may not make sense to have two shows that are running in the same time concurrently, especially that are so close to each other in terms of their theme and narrative. So it'll be interesting to see if they do intend to keep like, hey, Book of Boba Fett, like after Book, then like he's going to be just separate from Mando. Like he's not really going to fuck with Mando too much. Mando has his own thing with, the Mandalore, like, the Darksaber, all that, and then he just stays out of it.
So kind of what they pitched us last year, we're going to have all these spin-offs. They'll have their own deal, but then they'll ultimately, for like an Infinity War Endgame event, they will come. Okay. So yeah, you're thinking if they keep Boba going, He'll stick to Boba. You might get an occasional like, hey, Din, how you doing, buddy? Or, Fennec might be like, oh, you hear what the fucking Mandos are doing over on Mandalore these days? We probably shouldn't fuck with them right now. And then the big event will come where they all, okay, all right. I can get behind that. I think that's
probably the route they're going to take. Because now they're like the two characters are going in so...
Yeah, it's not even close.
Their directions are so different. It's not,
like one guy you have to imagine is going to have a hole in his heart because of losing his ward, but he also has this conundrum of owning the Darksaber, and the heiress isn't quite thrilled that he won it in combat, and now he technically is the champion of it.
Is the leader, yes. The
we still have all this other stuff that happened to Mandalore that we've only heard tidbits about from Gideon as he's talking shit. And I really do think the Mando is going to, from some of the leaks we've heard, is morphing more into, yes, this is a show about the Mandalorians, their plight, and hopefully their victory against the Remnant. So yeah, I mean, you really wouldn't expect Boba to be like, oh, hold on, I got to take a break from trying to conquer all these former Jesus Christ, I'm all over the place. Jabba the Fett, Jabba the Hutt associates, so I can go help out my boy Din one more time. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good stuff here. We're almost a week away.
I know. Yeah, we're getting close.
And I still have not. I can't. And I think it's going to be a game time decision if we do anything next week or not. It's definitely not going to be on Tuesday. If we do anything next week, it would be on Wednesday. It just, I don't know. I'm going to have to see how I feel. I'm going to have to see how the episode shakes out and what's going on with the rest of the schedule here at House Haywood. But if some crazy shit goes down and my narcissism can't be contained, there's a good chance at least one of us will be firing up the camera and shit to go Boba Fett, oh! for like an hour or so. I just don't know. It's like, I know Nick's got to work. I don't think I want to sit around till 2:00 waiting, but I don't know. Like I said, you just don't know. It could be a day where everyone around the house is doing nothing and I'm looking for something to do, or I could just want to play Halo Infinite all day. You don't know. You don't know. Hey,
we'll end this episode on a happy 2021 just in case we don't do one for next week.
You just don't know. I mean, I think if we had thousands and thousands of listeners that truly were hinging on what we were going to say about it, I probably would make an attempt, but let's be real. I mean, we'll be leaving like 200 people out in the cold for a week, so it's not that big of a deal. All right. More Boba Fett. Don't worry, people. It's Boba Fett all the time here at the SWTS. We did get a new teaser, and it's really at this point, knowing that we're only seeing the opening minutes of the first episode, how much more can they actually show off? We did get a couple interesting slides in this Authority one. I mean, not that the Trandoshans are anything special. I just said not Bosk, just so everyone knows. You know what, Chaos? I believe this goes back to, sorry, I'm dressing a live stream here. He's asking me, dude, you play Halo, but you're always offline. I know at one point last year, I set myself to offline in the app on my phone, and I'm assuming that has just permanently kept me offline, even though I log into the console. So if I think about it, I'll try to take myself off. But yeah, I mean, come on. We're old guys. We play offline. It is what it is. There's also sometimes when I do get my hour or two to game, I just want to like kind of be in my own headspace.
Not
you know
be
what I mean?
Annoyed.
But I do want to check in with my boy PK. Love that guy. Because Chaos, I believe there is a new update to Outriders that I'm sure you've beaten 1,000 times and gotten all the achievements. But I know Outriders put out, I believe, a little bit of an expansion, so might have to dip into that. But here we go. We got further confirmation from Orange Twi'lek guy here that the Ithorian is definitely called the Mayor. He says something like, what does he say? He says, "Oh, I bear the mayor's heartfelt welcome." And it's like,
it's a very magnanimous kind of opening.
But I'm almost positive now. I know last week or one of these breakdowns, I was like, well, maybe this guy gets dumped down the Rancor pit. That's a no at this point.
Yeah. It seems like he walks away.
Yeah,
He said, keep an eye on him.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's definitely not in the pit.
So, you can't get them all right. This other one, I grabbed a somewhat unblurred shot, but I think this is going to be a key character and one that Nick and I talked about maybe even a year ago, if not more. Nick, do you remember the story about, I think it was a Jordan Bolger and like a Sophia something that were rumored to be attached to the Mandalorian, and then another report came out like, no, they actually screwed up the timelines. These two are going to be in the Book of Boba Fett as like these gang members, like Scad and Rad, like that was their code names or something like that. I'm pretty damn sure, I didn't break out my pixelator, but I'm pretty damn sure the dude on the swoop bike and the girl that you can see with this gang that's chasing the speeder into town, I'm pretty positive that's going to be Jordan Bolger and the actress playing these gang members. And if you're on the live stream, I have the still up right now. Like I said,
that is a good guess because that looks almost exactly like Jordan Bolger. Bolger. Just purely based off of like pictures on Google and his Instagram feed.
Right. So, I mean, this could potentially be I don't know, Nick. I don't think it's Jizz's gang that Tone sent me. That I think they're in Shadow of the Empire or something. But I'm thinking like these could be kind of upstart ne'er-do-wells, like teen, young 20s that fuck with shit. Yeah. And I think these could be some of Boba's
recruits.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
I couldn't get it out. My brain's stupid. I'm glad you came in there and kind of kicked it. You know how sometimes you got to kick your lawnmower or kick your snowblower. Nick just essentially kicked me in the head and got it out. But yeah, I'm starting to think like these people, they may lightly fuck with them, but then realize like, you know what? We're trying to make our name for ourselves on the mean streets of this Tatooine city, just being jerk-offs, chasing people on our swoop bikes and almost running over protocol droids. Let's get in line with this guy and Fennec, who seem to be wanting to take over a full cartel. So that's my guess on these two.
I think that's a good call. Right. I mean, there was a lot of speculation that Bolger was going to play young Boba in flashbacks. That was, I mean, like I kind of guessed that when they first announced him for something, but as time went on, I think we strayed away from that possibility, and it's way more likely that they are just regular, like new recruits to the fucking Fett Syndicate or whatever he's going to call it.
I could see that. Like they're kind of become like his new lieutenants, or it's, you know what I mean? They're kind of young, dumb, and they're looking for their in somewhere. Boba is going to be their in.
Trying to make their bones.
Yeah, like that shithead that was hired to kill Fennec, like one of those types. You remember how he was so caught up in like, I need to make a name for myself. Mando, everyone loves you. You're a legend. Right? So I can kind of see these two being the same type. Not bounty hunters, but shitheads wanting to be bigger shitheads. All right. We also got a full clip. I mean, they're not wasting any type of promotion here, Nick. We've had the main trailer and then nothing but teasers since. We're definitely not going to get a full trailer at this point. Why, really? We know it's only the first few minutes of the first episode anyway, so the little 30-second spots are good. But we did get a full clip, and the clip covered the scene we have seen of Boba and Fennec walking through these city streets. They got their helmets off. I believe they're en route to the meeting with the mayor. It's kind of chill. They only have, one or two Gamorrean guards there with them. But we did get to hear a little more of their conversation. And essentially, Boba's like, he starts talking about covering Jabba's empire to lock up his former vassals. And that's when Fennec's like, well, you know what, dude? I mean, Jabba used to just sit back and let his lieutenants handle it. She's like, I can handle it for you, man. I got this. And that's where he's like, Jabba ruled with fear. I want to rule with respect. And she goes, in my opinion, sometimes it's better to rule with, that type of. So that was that whole, we finally got that whole scene to play out where he's kind of laying down the type of boss he wants to be, where Fennec is still kind of like, listen, bro, like, you sure you want to do this? Because I can go rough all these cocksuckers up for you. You don't have to come out here and try to play patty cake with them.
I mean, it's kind of like, if you remember like Godfather 2, end of Godfather 1, when like Michael took over the family based in large part from Vito. And that's kind of like, Vito was kind of like Jabba because he was older, like he needed to have his lieutenants go out and get stuff done. he rarely ever, left his house. And then when he did, he gets fucking shot up at the market. And then when Michael comes in, he's like, all right, well, I'm changing up how shit's going to get run, and I'm going to be way more involved than my father was.
Yeah.
Like Michael goes out and does the hit on the guy who, almost killed his father. And then he does a bunch of, sets up the hit on the other families from The Godfather. Like he does all that himself. And it feels like that's what Boba's doing now. He's taking over this syndicate, like the bones of this syndicate from what was Jabba the Hutt and for a little while was Bib Fortuna. And he's like, look, this shit was run kind of shoddily before and people were just doing whatever they wanted to do. Now there's going to be a little bit more of a hand in play here from me. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Tone just might have given me an epiphany here. Have you noticed how he's holding his helmet? Someone commented like, "Oh, he's holding it wrong." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Oh yeah, they do spill credits.
Okay, so I'm starting to think, Nick, now that the big battle with the Maroon Goons may take place before the conversation with the mayor. Like because they're in one of these. I don't know if it was the trailer we just broke down. He is seen walking away from the mayor, where before we thought like a shootout goes down. So I'm now starting to think like maybe en route to the mayor, they get into some fisticuffs with the Maroon Goons, and that's why the helmet tumbles over and credits spill out. No? Yay?
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And then the Maroon Goons, I mean, we assume that they're linked to
Dawn. Well, we thought the mayor, but now if you think about it, like if you look at who we thought were the mayor's guards, they had much different upper torso like armor shit, right? Like it kind of had like that thing that the cowboy collar from football on the back of their whatever the hell they're wearing.
Of their neck. Yeah.
So maybe it's like en route to talk with the mayor, one of these other syndicates or the Maroon Goon, is it Crimson Dawn? Just try to take him out right there, and then he ends up having the meeting with the mayor. But it is curious that he's walking around with credits in his helmet. You think maybe he's going there to pay off the mayor, and then the gang kind of comes in and fucks with him.
Yeah, I mean that's what's weird too. Is like you always in Star Wars you always hear credits as the main currency and people talking about credits and exchanging credits, but like I don't think you've actually ever seen anybody exchange credits. Like it's always done digitally. Like I transferred credits to your data pad, or I transferred credits. The only time we've seen a physical exchange of currency in Star Wars recently was in Mando when he gets like that, like the Quarren money.
Yeah, like and Solo with like all the chips and shit they used in Sabacc. So
that was it.
Tones is asking why is he carrying credits? I mean it could be a kind of goodwill gesture towards the mayor. Like, hey, I took over for Jabba. I'm not Jabba. I'm here to rule with respect. Here's a vig. You know what I mean? Like, here's my monthly payment.
Grease you a little bit just to start the cut. Start the it off good.
I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. One of those deals. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm starting to think that they may get ambushed now prior to what we thought was going to be a little bit of a skirmish with the mayor's forces. Who the fuck knows? 7 more days, right?
Yep, 7 more days.
All right, so we're going to put the book of Boba Fett to bed. All right, that is like one of the last main things to cover. It's really, at this point, it's just the 29th. That's what we're at. We just got to get to the 29th. I'm sure there's going to be some new spots leading into the weekend. I think these days, since college isn't playing, you get NFL Saturday and Sunday, which is prime time to dump trailers and other things to get people to consume and buy and spend. Keep the corporate machine going. Buy, spend, repeat. Go, do your job, buy shit. All right. Hey, I'm off for the next 3 weeks, so I'm a little goofy today. I've actually eaten some real food. It's not a diet day. I don't know if I'm going to drink, although I'm starting to think I might at least have a sniff of bourbon tonight. Why not?
Nice.
Throw on another. We've committed to watching at least one Christmas movie a day. Yesterday we watched. I think the Christmas Chronicles on Netflix is fantastic. I'm glad they did that. And
I am not a consumer of Christmas media.
No,
I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy Christmas movies. I don't like Christmas music. Like you want to know? It's funny.
Is Nick me today? Like, when have you ever heard this kid be this negative about something? And he's negative about Christmas. I love it. You learn something new every day.
Not negative, but it's just like I never got into it. And like my family was never like a family that like, oh, when Thanksgiving's over, like we start playing Christmas music. Like we never did that.
Right.
And we never did like sit like even on Christmas Eve. Like on Christmas Eve, we wouldn't even put on Christmas movies when like the whole family was there. We would like watch sports or something like that.
You're a Krampus family, huh?
Apparently so. But the only Christmas movie that Taylor and I have watched, and if it was up to her, we would watch Christmas stuff all the time, was the Harold and Kumar Christmas special.
Oh, great. Good job, Nick.
Because we were just like on Netflix and we were like, what's a funny movie that we haven't seen that's like kind of off the wall? And like we had seen the other two Harold and Kumar movies, like the White Castle.
Well, speaking of those guys,
Bay.
Neil Patrick Harris is in a. I love it. It's called 8-Bit Christmas, I think. It's on HBO Max. It's a new one. Okay. It's about him when he was a kid in the 80s wanting a Nintendo. So anyone from my generation, the movie's going to resonate with you. It's fantastic because they do like parodies of the one kid that got it and the shit. People would have to like come and give them donations to come play games and then waiting turn to play Nintendo. It completely took me back to the 80s. So that's a good one. Like I said, the Christmas Chronicle films on Netflix are good. Jingle Jangle, which is like it's black people, very good as well. They put it in their Representation Matters collection, Nick. So that's where you can find that one. We get into that shit. I've forced little kids to watch the Princess Switch. Because I'm like, I'm not going to lie. I am a sucker for like rom-com shit, especially set around Christmas stuff. I may not look like it, but I love those types of stories where, boy meets girl, girl meets boy. Something happens, but then they get back together at the end and everyone's happy. So I can't wait to watch the Princess Switch 2. And I've heard that 3 released this year, so I'm getting super excited for that. But that does strike me that you're not into this shit. Christmas is like the one holiday I actually care about, get excited for, and completely dive in.
I don't do anything. Like, I don't get up for any holiday, honestly. Like, I'm not like a holiday person. Like, because like the thing is, like, I'm a great, like, I love giving gifts. I give. Like, I
was gonna say, it sounds like all you got is socks and underwear from Santa Claus when you were little. Because you're like, fuck this shit.
No, we do the whole gift exchange. We have the Christmas. This was our first year having a Christmas tree in the house. Actually, the first year since I moved to Austin that I've had a Christmas tree. I mean, so like we do all that, but it's just like I mean, like Christmas movies are all the same. They're all kind of the same, you know. Like I like Jingle All the Way because it was probably the most different Christmas movie that I had seen.
Is that with Arnold?
That's the one with, yeah, that's the one with Arnold.
We've watched that.
Everybody's fighting to try to get this toy
I got that
and shit
one.
like
that.
That
one's been watched this year.
And then so we also watched Home Alone.
There you go.
The Home Alone.
I watched the new Home Alone, and it's not. They actually change it up enough. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. It's not that bad.
That's what I was going to say is like, I know that like after 2, it changed from Macaulay Culkin and I never watched any of those after that.
I didn't watch the third one. I'm talking about they made a brand new one for Disney Plus that released like last month. It's a different take, but kind of the same concept. It's not terrible, but yeah, it is. There, Devin's with me. He's a princess switcher.
Yeah, I'm more into like the gifting part of Christmas than like all of the media that surrounds it because there's so much and it's just hard to deal with. Like that one, like I can't stand that Mariah Carey song. Like it drives.
Yeah, no,
me.
I don't. I like my Christmas music listening is either like the classics with Nat King Cole and Bing Crosby and those people, or Mannheim Steamroller, like the kind of the synth stuff. This is so. Oh, Devin, our boy Super Scoundrel, is releasing Turbo Man merch with Arnold this month. So there you go.
Oh,
for all you Jingle
God.
All the Way motherfuckers out there. It sounds like Devin just made another sale to young Nick right here, getting some more Devin created clothing.
he might get a sale from me with the Turbo
I
Man.
I just want to know if Devin is watching, because there's also, I believe there's the Prince Switch too. I want to know if he's watching that shit. Or Devin, how about this one? It's like a night for Christmas, but it's a night that gets like transported to the future and falls in love during the holidays to Vanessa Hudgens, who also plays the princess in the Princess Switch. I mean, come on, let's go. Okay, yeah. So, we've also gone back and started some Harry Potters too. Getting a lot of movies in during the break here. I can feel it. And I have curiously gone back and started binge watching the Fast and Furious franchise for some reason. Like, so much so, dude, over the weekend, like some nights I'm old, and if I have a drink or two and some of my other snoochie boochies, it's over. Like, just take me to bed. But I still like, no, I'm going to watch this movie. I think I watched Fast and Furious 4 3 times this week because I would start it, fall asleep, and be like, fuck it. I feel the need that I have to watch it consciously. But started it, fell asleep, and then finally finished it last night, and then went right into Fast 5 and watched that whole thing. So I don't know. I'm hooked on some stupid shit.
I did a binge of that a while ago. We just started watching The Expanse because we finished watching a couple of our shows.
Have you seen any seasons, or you're going?
I saw season 1.
Oh, nice.
I saw part of season 2.
So you've got 5 full seasons now to go through.
Yeah. So we started it from episode 1 because Taylor had never seen it. So, I thought she might be into it because she does like kind of dystopian future
I have a feeling
society
this
stuff.
Is going to the she hated it and I'm watching it by myself.
No, she really enjoyed it. She did like it. So we're in on Expanse. We're gonna ride that all the way through for the 5 seasons, and then after that, I don't know. We'll see what our next show will be.
I know The Witcher. We got Witcher season 2 dropped Friday, so I need to schedule that in. Heather and I were finally going through True Detective season 3, and my God, is that just what a show! What a show! Yeah. I mean, just great acting, writing. All right, it's like we're back to the first segment. Let's get back on track.
Okay, we still have some Star Wars. Two little pieces of Star Wars news left for this show, because obviously there's not going to be a ton of Star Wars news dropping outside of Book of Boba Fett since that releases in a week. So we do have a couple of other things before we get to the end of the show. So,
hey, you know what? Before we get into this one, I think this is a perfect time for a word from our sponsor. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So let's get those walnuts up there. Let's get the Manscaped words up there. There we go. Look at that. The perfect package for his perfect package. You know what we're talking about, people. That's Manscaped. It's Star Wars time show. It's getting those balls cleaned up and smelling great. Okay. Let me clear my throat for this. All right. Hey, fellas, this episode of the Star Wars Time Show is brought to you by our favorite producers of ball trimmers, Manscaped. The global leaders in below-the-waist grooming are leaving 2021 with new product. Clean yourself into the new year with their ultra-premium body wash. Also, special offer alert, use the code SWTS for 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. 4 million men already trust Manscaped. Time to join them. I actually believe since we started doing this, 2 more million men have started to trust Manscaped. So what do you think about that? All right.
It's all us.
All right, Nick. So, what was one of the highlights of 2021 for you? And what are you looking forward to in 2022 with your below the waist care?
I mean, it's just become like before it was very like what do I do? What do I put down there? What makes it like there was no routine. And now I have a full routine. I feel fresh. And then bingo bango, that makes every day that I start off with Manscaped a fresh day. So
damn straight. So 2022 is on its way, and the last thing you want is to be the guy with pubes getting in your way of making this year your best yet. 2021 sucked, and that's why Manscaped is making a splash and upping your grooming game. Their signature Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take down every pube in its path. Manscaped has engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th gen trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe tech. It's even waterproof. This tool is amazing, and I'm confident using the 4.0 to leave 2021 and my gross pubes with it. You know what else I'm confident about? Smelling like $1,000,000 and a mang. You may be asking how, and I'm happy you did. I used, as Nick just said, the Manscaped Refined Cologne with the same signature scent that is in all Manscaped formulas. A great compliment to your collection. So let's talk about being clean, feeling, and smelling good. The new Ultra Premium Body Wash from Manscaped solves all 3 for the perfect addition to your daily grooming routine. But in the shower. I shower every day, and I hope you do too. This body wash is infused with aloe vera and sea salt to keep your skin feeling clean, nice, and moisturized. With Manscaped, you'll be a brand new man and ready to kick all the gross hair and smells out with 2021. So use the code SWTS for 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. I'm all in on confidence and smelling good this new year. So join me with Manscaped. All right? So don't forget, get 20% off plus free shipping with the code SWTS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Just use the code SWTS. Happy New Year to your balls. All right, friends, we would appreciate it if you use the code. I think we're coming up on the end of our term here. You never know what the new year may bring, but if you've got some needs, if you want to smell better, if you want to groom better, SWTS over at manscaped.com. We'll love you for it. All right.
Cologne's a great gift too if you are looking for a gift.
Yeah, you were saying that last week. I need to get in on that. I might do an order today because the old ball lotion is getting light.
Running low.
As they like to say. Yes. So that's it. Manscaped, SWTS. All right, Nick, as you were saying, we have a non-Book of Boba Fett story, believe it or not. We do talk about other things Star Wars. What are these people? What's Station 11 here?
They're talking about other good shows, I think. Station 11, somebody said Peaky Blinders is good. I'm not sure. I've never heard of Station 11.
Me neither, but both Devin and SW Props, who are they're also admitting that they are fans of rom-coms. I can feel that.
Station 11. So it is a TV miniseries.
Okay.
Post-apocalyptic saga spanning multiple timelines, telling the stories of survivors of a devastating flu as they attempt to rebuild and reimagine a world while holding on to the best of what has been lost.
So it's like what our real life is going to be in like 10 years.
I think it's on Showtime. No. Wait, what? HBO Max. Never mind. Not Showtime.
No shit. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, HBO Max.
Yeah, I've heard great things about Peaky Blinders. I know I started the first season, never finished it, so I might have to go back and revisit that. It's just too much shit, man. This is one year I finally felt like towards the end of the year I could actually focus and I got through some shows, but now it's just like blah 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 blah. You know, it's like Witcher's back, Wheel of Time's wrapping up. You're gonna have Foundation season 2, Book of Boba Fett's coming, Kenobi's coming. It's like fuck.
I know. Next year is going to be wild, but
all right. Well, I'll add Station 11 to my list at least. Even though, does anyone else feel like their lists in all these apps are essentially like black holes?
Oh,
I mean, do you curate like your Netflix list or anything like? I mean, I scroll through it and I'm like, Jesus, all I do is just add more shit to it that I'm never going to watch. It's just like it's never ending.
I think the list functionality has fallen out of use for me too.
Got you.
It's either too backlogged on Netflix or like on HBO.
Yeah.
Like there's just
the other
too much
thing.
I'll
tell you what, and this is like if you're a UI designer out there, don't do this. But whoever designed the Netflix app, at least on Apple TV, when you scroll through your list, like you can't do a 360 scroll, meaning if you're trying to go back and see the last title you just scrolled past, You can't fucking see it. Like if you start at the front, your most recent My List, Nick, and you're scrolling through it all, and you get to the end and you loop back to the front, you can't just do a simple scroll back to go back to the end of the list. You have to go through the whole fucking thing again.
Oh,
it's
wow.
Like,
yeah, that's
like,
not...
Fuck you, asshole. I mean, when you're a programmer, how do you sit there and go, oh, yeah, this is a good idea?
Yeah.
These jerk-offs that have 80 titles in their My List, I'm going to make them scroll all the way this way. And then if they're like, oh, shit, that one at the end, I want to go check back. Nope. If you make it back to start, I'm going to make you go all the way around and pass go again and not give you $200. So eat it, motherfucker. I'm gonna cancel my Netflix. Black out Netflix. Hashtag it. Let's go. Let's do it. But anyway, so what we got? We got an Ahsoka story here, right? On the actress we talked about. I think Nick threw that up a week or two ago. Ivana Sachno, or however you pronounce her name. But we got some details, eh?
Yes, we do. So this is from Illuminerdi, and they say that they have some details on her character. So this is their description: a formidable mercenary who must now decide between two paths. Astrid, so that's her name, can either follow the path of her unit or take hold of her own aspiration in service of her own glory. So it seems like mercenary, probably could be working for some syndicate, like a syndicate, whether it be one of the crime syndicates, or maybe she is like a mercenary for the Imperial Remnant at the time. Mm-hmm. Or she's just like out there kind of doing her own thing off the grid. And then she's probably going to run into Ahsoka, I would assume, at some point, if she's going to be one of the lead characters of the show, and then be stuck between, do I go back to doing what I was, or do I try to push forward and maybe work with this person a little bit? So it's not a lot in terms of the description. The last part of this description, or take hold of her own aspiration in service of her own glory, almost makes it seem like, is she going to like go rogue from whatever mission she was on? And then either, try to hunt down and kill Ahsoka on her own.
Yeah.
Or, something like that.
I took a few stabs at it in the article on StarWarsTime.net. We'd all love for you to go over there. Oh, by the way, for you ratings and reviewers, Spotify just added ratings and reviews. So if you're listening on Spotify, please, please, please rate, review.
I know that we do have a decent following on Spotify. I didn't see our wrap this year to see if
I did. It's not bad. I think we have like 30 or 40 dedicated Spotifyers.
Well, there you go. For the 30 or 40 of you.
Our heaviest platform is probably YouTube at this point, sadly. And then iTunes, and then Spotify. But yeah, I mean, it's just ratings and reviews. It's all that matters. They even, like, in the email, they're like, oh, we finally added ratings and reviews to Spotify because we know it allows listeners to take better control of what they want to listen to. And they're not fucking around. Like I've been telling you, we are all beholden to the AI these days, whether you want to think it or not. We are. Like... You have to do certain tricks to get the internet to notice you. And for shows where people might be, hey, a fun Star Wars show or best Star Wars podcast, the only way to get up there on SERPs is if the AI looks at human interaction and says, okay, I think people like these other meatbags. Let's shift some traffic to them. Over, so let's do it. Ratings and reviews. If you're new here listening or watching the live stream for the first time, please consider subbing to the YouTube channel. Just click down there on those buttons and click the little bell so you will get notifications for new content. So Nick, this is a stab I'm taking on I don't think Astrid's going to be the final name. I think that's kind of like a cover name for like a casting name that they put out there to do casting calls, but it's not the real name. Either way, I think ultimately this character is going to have a crisis of conscience. All right. Is she working for the Remnant to hunt Ahsoka? And then she has a change of heart when she runs into her.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a very real possibility.
And look, this is where Nick and I sometimes do share a bond through the Force. It's the dyad isn't as strong as Rey and Ben, but it's there. But I also wrote, or if she bucks her unit to go after Ahsoka herself to claim a new title within the ranks of the nefarious types inhabiting this area of the timeline. So kind of like a clout chaser. And I think that's what Nick was saying. Like maybe she just, based on the line here, of her own aspiration and service of her own glory, think back to early Han Solo. What did he want? He only wanted a name. He wanted people to know who he was. He was someone that would, take hold of his own aspirations in service of his own glory. That's exactly what he did in the Solo movie. So is she pulling one of those moves? So I don't know. I think we're teetering on the edge of being correct here, Nick, and that she's probably working for a shady organization, if not the Remnant. Yeah. And she's probably tasked as a merc to find Ahsoka to prevent her from either finding Ezra or Thrawn.
Yeah.
And she either, like we're saying, is like, you know what, fuck this. I'm not a bad person. This is wrong. What she's doing is good. I'm going to enlist with her and then forge my own path as a hero. Or like Nick said, without knowing I said it, she just goes full on rogue from whatever organization she's been hired from and is now trying to take all the cake for herself to get that clout so she can get sponsored on Instagram and TikTok.
Now, I mean, if there's one thing that we know, it's, when you're in the rank and file of the Empire, or the Imperial Remnant, or First Order, or any of these like galactic wide evil organizations, like you get lost in the shuffle pretty quickly. So if she was working for the Remnant, then I could see why that desire to kind of strike out on your own and like make a name for yourself outside of just like, I'm an Imperial grunt. I do the dirty work for the Empire.
The only thing there, Nick, is they classify her as a merc. So I'm thinking if she's working for the Remnant, it's through a contract versus her being in the ranks. If this is real, by the way. I mean, I think the Illuminati has hit on one or two other castings, so I'm not saying they're complete poof flingers, but it is what it is. So she is a merc. I would look at her more like someone like a Fennec that we know worked with the Empire as an assassin type versus being in like a Remnant unit at that station where, Din and Mayfeld showed up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think she's going to be kind of like an antagonist? Or do you think ultimately pro?
I think she's going to probably play in the gray when we first meet her. Like, I think she's going to start bad.
Anti-hero to start and maybe hero to end, something like that.
Somewhere, something like that. I think she's definitely young enough to play like a misguided youth type of character where like she's just a kid and like, or she's like young enough to where like, oh man, like this is how I'm making money. Yeah. Like all I got to do is do what the Imperial Remnant wants me to do. I get some money. I get some credit to my name. But then after that, she starts to realize that maybe working with the Remnant is not the best for her future. And decides to take it out on her own.
Maybe she runs into Ahsoka and Ahsoka realizes that she has force potential, and then a bond potentially forms from there that snaps her out of her nonsense. And there's a lot.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
That's why I'm digging this unknown character. I like this. I mean, obviously we're gonna enjoy seeing the Sabines and the Anakins and the Ahsokas and all that shit, but this is good. This is why Mando universe is good for us, because it allows them to inject these new characters like a Mayfeld or, I know a lot of people like Kara, stuff like that. And it was just quoted in the Robert article by Filoni, where he's like, listen, these new shows are introducing new characters, but because of our history and our ability to bring in classic characters, we can have them all working together and everything explains itself in the end, and it just widens the arc of this Star Wars narrative. So I dig it. I do think ultimately she's probably going to come around to Ahsoka's way of life, and maybe she's not hunting Ahsoka. Maybe she's hunting Ezra. Maybe she's hunting Sabine, and that's how Ahsoka and Sabine and Ezra get reunited. Who knows? There's too many unknowns at this point. But yeah, if anything, I'm digging that this girl got this chance and she is playing a seemingly unknown character that is ultimately going to turn into a main character. Yeah.
I like the route that they're taking so far. And what's interesting is like we've never had like an Eastern European character cast in Star Wars, at least not character, Eastern European person.
What
cast
about
in Star Wars
Mads?
Before.
Does he count?
Yeah. That actually.
I mean, his name sounds very, like Porsche. Go to make some pancakes.
So Mads was born in Copenhagen.
There you go.
And then Ivana was born in Ukraine.
Oh, you're talking like Eastern Bloc, like
Eastern,
former
Eastern
USSR,
Bloc.
the commies.
Exactly, because like usually, like if you follow castings for Star Wars, you can usually pin down like who's good and who's bad based off of like their like personal history in their background. Because like for the most part, like people who are British or like who have very striking like white British features are usually bad guys, and then people who are either American or are using American accents usually play the good guys.
Why is that?
It's like
it's because Hollywood's over here, motherfuckers. Yeah! We get to set the narrative.
Most of the time when I look at castings, I'm like, okay, where are they from? And that'll kind of give me a little bit of a hint to where, like, at least where their character origin is started. So that's
Nick's giving us a lesson on tokenization of cultures in pop culture. He's not wrong, though.
That's how it happens.
He's like, well, if there's an Asian person, they're probably good at computers or math, right? I mean,
as unfortunate as that is, and that's why like Ivana is kind of a curveball because I think she is like the first actress from the Eastern Bloc, like you said, from like Russia, Ukraine, Chechnya, like that area, like all of that over there that's ever been cast in Star Wars. So like
you're on to something because I believe in The Spy Who Dumped Me, she plays the bad guy, like the villain, the villainess. So you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I don't know. I feel like I need to go rewatch Pacific Rim Uprising, which isn't that bad of a movie.
I've only seen
decent.
Uprising once. Yeah,
it's not bad.
I don't remember it all that much. I should watch it again. I mean, Boyega was good in it. That's from what I can remember.
Yeah, no, he is. He is. I really, I didn't find anyone in the cast was like, oh, you suck. Because I think, what's his name? I think Eastwood's in it. Eastwood's kid. One of those.
Yeah. Yes. Clint Eastwood's kid is in it. Scott.
There
Eastwood.
You go. No nepotism there at all.
None at all.
There's there's barely any nepotism in Hollywood. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Come on.
All right. Well, I'm we're here for you. That's why StarWarsTime.net exists and its vehicle, the Star Wars Time Show. So we'll be keeping our ears to the street, and I'll be bloodying my eyes over on Reddit leaks with just blatant plot dumps that are just exposed on the front page. It's like, come on. Like, I know I'm going to something called Star Wars Leaks, but they at least used to put some sort of effort into not giving you like the last people. Like, okay, if you really want to see this, hit this button option. Like the nuke button is missing at this point in time.
Yeah. We do have one more piece, the last piece before we get into our fan segment. It's about another cast actor, this time not in Ahsoka, but in Andor. And who we're talking about here is Stellan Skarsgård.
The Baron, right? Didn't he
the Baron Harkonnen, yes. Right. For those of you who have, been around for a little bit longer, probably in your 30s, Stellan Skarsgård has been in a lot of stuff. A lot of really, really good stuff, too. Specifically, like my first memory of Stellan Skarsgård goes back to Good Will Hunting in '97, and like that was the first time that I had seen him in anything, and he was absolutely excellent in that. Obviously, he was in the MCU. If you follow the MCU, he was in Thor. Thor and the Avengers 1 and Ultron, I think. He was in Pirates of the Caribbean. He was Bootstrap Bill Turner. So in Pirates 2 and 3.
They're just, the Skarsgårds, they're like another royal family of acting excellence. I mean,
exactly.
His brother just did a turn on Succession. His other brother is Pennywise, right?
Yes, Bill is Pennywise. Alexander has been around for a long. Alexander he's been in so many HBO shows that it's actually hard to keep up with. He was in Big Little Lies. He was in True Blood. He was in Generation Kill. He's in Succession now, like you said. Like he's a go-to for HBO.
Yeah.
So this guy's been around. And then
a
Bill,
talented
like
family. You know, it's like the Branaghs. It's just Kenneth Branagh, right? There's not a line of Branaghs, are there?
I don't think so. I don't think that there's,
because we just watched Harry Potter 2, and that's what he plays. What's his name? Gilderoy Lockhart, like that douchebag dark arts instructor. And
he also directed like a lot of good movies.
Literally
too.
Thor.
Yeah, the first.
See,
so
we're doing like some Kevin Bacon shit here, like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, even though we haven't talked about Kevin Bacon yet.
They're all connected, but yeah. So Stellan Skarsgård's been cast in Andor, and he had a little sit-down chat with Screen Rant recently, and he talked about what his character is like, you know, kind of a little surface chat on his character, and then talking about Tony Gilroy and his writing. So for those of you who don't remember, Tony Gilroy is the guy who came in to Rogue One.
I like how you spin his quote here. Fun to play because he has a lot of different faces. That's good stuff.
Faces,
go ahead, you tell the people. You share it with the people.
So yeah, so Gilroy is the guy who came in and quote unquote saved Rogue One, and now he's the showrunner and writer for Andor. But during the interview with Screen Rant, Skarsgård had one choice quote about his character. He said he was, like Matt was saying, he's fun to play because he has a lot of different faces to show. And the way that I put it in the article is usually when somebody says that about a character outside of Star Wars, that usually means that like the character's complex, has many different interesting facets, a deep character. Star Wars could literally mean that the character does have many actual faces.
Yeah.
Like he could be a shapeshifter. He could be any number of different things. That could take on different forms. But this was the quote from Stellan from his interview with Screen Rant. He says, "The writing is really good. It's the same writer that did Rogue One, Tony Gilroy, and also to work with Diego Luna, who's an old friend. So I was excited by that. And then my character is ... Well, you'll see. It's fun to play because he has a lot of different faces to show. So not too much there. But what's interesting to me is that he basically opened the quote with like, this is the guy who did Rogue One, and this is why it's going to be good."
Yeah.
Did you ever, I mean, like we've known for a while that Gilroy was taking on Andor, but did you ever think that after his quotes post Rogue One that he would be involved in Star Wars again? Like, I think for both of us, we kind of thought that Gilroy was like a one and doneer because he was very
just an arrogant. He was an arrogant shithead. I mean, his quotes were like, "Star Wars is fucking whack until I came and made it better." That's not exactly what he said. All right, I'm definitely taking some liberties here, but that was the tone of it. Like, listen, I wouldn't touch Star Wars with a 10-foot pole. They needed me. I came in like Jesus, fixed it, be healed, eat a dick.
Yeah.
Is more or less what he said. But, you know, from what we've read about Rogue One and what Gareth was going through, and I even believe some of the guys we've had on the show that worked on Rogue One kind of were like, yeah, this, you know, Tony did kind of come in and clean shit up and got shit moving, and that's where we got the Vader hallway scene. So in the end, dickhead or not, if that's the man responsible for the end of Rogue One and the Vader hallway scene, then I guess he can say whatever the fuck he wants about Star Wars, and it's A-okay. So
yeah,
I'm going to have to trust Skarsgård and the people at Lucasfilm because he technically did come in and button up Rogue One in a way that probably has made it everyone's favorite Disney Star Wars movie. And there's not a single Star Wars fan on the planet that's not going to tell you that the Vader hallway scene is one of the greatest, if not the greatest scenes in all of Star Wars.
Yeah, that's almost a consensus.
Right. So he might be an arrogant motherfucker, but sometimes those people are that way because they are good. and they're good at what they do, and they back up the shit they talk. So I don't think Stellan strikes me as someone that would come out and blow smoke up someone's ass to try and get another role. So I'm going to take him for his word, and maybe that's why this thing's taken so damn long. It's very artsy fartsy, and they're really putting some care to everything, because we at this point we've seen and heard more about Ahsoka and Kenobi than Rogue One, which finished filming months and months ago. I'd say if not a half a year ago at this point.
Yeah, that's what I kind of put towards the end of this article, is that between the talk about Kenobi and Ahsoka, you've basically lost all of the Andor chat. And I can understand why. I mean, Ahsoka and Kenobi are based around two of the most loved characters in the entire franchise, while Andor is literally like a prequel to a movie that was fantastic, everybody loves, but like the characters in them were clearly disposable. Like all of the characters in that in that movie died. I mean, all of the main characters. So it's like it's hard to attach yourself to a whole series based around that universe, or based around that little slice of the universe, when you know that the main characters get vaporized.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see how the reception is from the fans, because I think the hardcore fans, especially the fans of Rogue One, are really gonna like this. I'm interested to see if like casuals will watch it, because it's not The Mandalorian, it's not Boba Fett, and it's not any other character that they've ever heard of. Like,
yeah. It's just, dude, it's so odd for a person like me to think that way, though, because like I'm not fucking around. I know I act like a jerk off on the show, and I am for the most part. But I truly, my brain is wired in a way where I see no wrong in anything Star Wars. Like I am 100% engaged the moment it's announced, and I will be all the way through it. Even if I don't like it, I still went and saw those prequel movies multiple times a piece in theaters when I wasn't a huge fan of the prequels. So it is what it is. I mean, Star Wars truly is a part of me. It's my favorite thing out there. I get up for anything Star Wars. No, we're probably not going to be at Celebration this year. There's, it's this, that, and the other thing. But
I'm not going to be.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is life, so I'm all about it. I mean, Andor could be Diego sitting there waxing poetic for 7 episodes, and I'll still tune in for every episode and probably do a stupid video that 20 people watch breaking it down. That's just how I am. Some of it I wish I could break free from, but for the most part, I'm always all in on anything Star Wars, as long as it's on the up and up and not some, like nonsense like fan shit that they're jacking the license or doing stuff with the license that's a little wonky. But even there, sometimes I'll check it out and give it a few minutes. But yeah, I'm jazzed for anything Star Wars. They could say we're gonna have a Jabba the Hutt series. They'd be like, all right, cool. We're gonna have a Bib Fortuna series. All right, cool. We're gonna have the Max Rebo band series. I'd be like, all right, we'll see what you do with it.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll hang out with Figure and Dan and play a big fucking concert on Boonta Eve. Who knows?
There's so many interesting stories that you can tell around Star Wars. I mean, with established characters, with non-established characters. I think the best thing that's come out so far that's shown us just how flexible the license is has been Visions, because you have 7 episodes or you have 9 episodes where you are seeing stories told about people you've never heard of and you'll likely never hear of again. But it was so engaging that like everybody wanted more of it. Everybody was like, please make the twins into a series, or make, the duel into a series, and all these different things. And it just goes to show you that like you don't even need to have a recognizable face.
Right.
For the hardcore,
you know
fans.
what I'm saying.
Like they will show.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I whatever. Call me a Kool-Aid drinker. That's fine. I am, and I'm happy for it. It just is, and there's very few things that I drink the Kool-Aid on in life. I know you all probably think I'm an apple Kool-Aid drinker. It's just, it was more a my complete switch to Apple products was more of a just PTSD reaction to working in corporate IT and pure Windows and Microsoft setups and all the work I used to have to do just to keep that shitty operating system functioning. And just, you know, when you get older, I don't necessarily care so much that I can get into my rig and add a new chip or add some more RAM or get the new Jeep. I don't fucking care. I just don't care. I don't want to eat up 3 hours of my day to tinker on my computer. That's just me. That's why I go Apple, because I know I'm not going to have to fucking deal with it. So, but Star Wars Kool-Aid, it's strong. I mean, it is strong. You know, you've seen it on this show in the past. Like, if Nick says the wrong thing, sometimes I take it like it's real life. And it's like, I am very passionate about this galaxy that is far, far away. All right. Real quick, Nick, we're doing good on time. There's this, today was a Bring Home the Bounty Day, and there actually were some decent reveals. But I honestly think even with these decent reveals, and by decent, I mean you're getting a three repaint TVC clone troopers, but they're based on some wild looking armor from Star Wars Battlefront 2, Nick. So they do look kind of cool. Okay. Have you ever seen the clone trooper that's in all black armor with like orange painted onto him to where he almost looks like it's a skeleton? Have you seen that?
No,
doesn't sound like it. But they're releasing that figure in Black Series and in TVC, and I'm not gonna lie, it does look pretty freaking rad. I mean, it's hard to make a clone trooper look stupid. But it does look rad. But I think this is the signal to me that I'm done. I think I'm done with small figures. I really do, because I've managed to completely skip the Boba Fett Tython wave, which is Boba, Fennec, some other shitheads. I haven't bought a damn thing from Bring Home the Bounty. I just don't care. It's like I think I finally have broke myself free of, they announced the new Black Series wave. Got to get it all, even though I don't really give a shit about half the figures. I just think I'm going to take pictures of them, but I'm not really. They're just going to sit in their boxes, and then once they're out of their boxes, they're going to sit on a table, and then once they're off the table, they're going to sit in a plastic drawer, and then they'll probably die a slow death in that drawer and never even make it to a shelf. So it's like, why? Just stick to the Hot Toys and maybe even start canceling some of those. I think I'm finally, and we're talking an 11-year wave at this point, because I consider 2010 is when I got nuts with Funkos, and then the Funko insanity went right into the Black Series, and now Black Series has gone into Hot Toys. But I'm not even that jazzed about Hot Toys right now. I'm in a collectible depression, I guess, and I think
are you going to go to the toy? I saw there's like a toy photography con, like the first one ever.
I'm glad you brought that up. No shit, Nick. When I was knee deep into toy photography, the one thing I kept thinking, like, you know what? I'm never gonna be like one of these big viral toy photographers.
Yeah.
But one thing I think that would be cool, and I might be able to make a name for myself, is if I somehow organized a toy photographers con. And here we go. Our boy Sir Dork, Work More or Less, Plastic Action, Black Series. Who else is looped in there? Another big name. I'm forgetting. Sorry. We love you. We speak your name, but I'm just forgetting. But there's going to be a toy photographers con, I believe, in June in Saratoga, New York.
Are you going to make an appearance? I feel like you have to. I feel like even though our show, like Star Wars Time Show, it has like a small following. I do feel like, if anything, we, and more specifically you, have had like a pretty big.
Like I could get some people that you know roll their eyes at this, but I believe we have dedicated more to the toy photography space than any other fan show podcast out there, and have stuck to it. Other Instagram accounts, they tried to do like, after we did it, hey, let's interview toy photographers on a podcast. They've kind of quit. We've kept doing it. We've actually increased our interviews to actual cast members and people that worked in Star Wars for 3 years now, right? 3 fucking years now. Yeah. Every day, I don't think I've missed a single day in 3 years. We've featured toy photography. Every week, we dedicate sometimes up to 25 to 30 minutes of our show to the toy photography space. So why I might not shoot that much, and I can't really call myself a toy photographer, I think the Star Wars Time Show has been one of the biggest champions of the hobby on the planet.
Yeah.
So
I do think so. So
I think one of the whales need to invite us. If not, sign us up as a vendor to be present at the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is here are the full crew. It is Plastic Action, Nose Rain, Work More or Less.
Nose Rain's the one I forgot.
Black Series, and then Michael Wu.
Yeah, Mitchell Wu Photography. Yeah, they're the big dogs. There's no doubt about it.
Yes.
But I don't know. There's part of me is like, you know what? At one point in time, I wanted to host a toy photography. This learning online, learning journeys. They got there first. Good for them. You know, that's what you get when you sit on your thumb and rotate. Nothing. You just get a sore asshole. You don't get to be the champion of the toy photography con. But there was a part of me like, you know what? I feel like we should be involved. The show should be involved because of just the ridiculous amount of time we have dedicated to toy photography. You know what I mean? And we love all you. We love all you. And yes, a lot of you have helped us kind of getting in with the toy photography community. Like I get there's a little symbiosis going on here, like midichlorians and their hosts. But, you know, find another account out there that has dedicated as much time and effort to promoting toy photography and the photographers than the Star Wars Time Show. Thank you. I'll take my bow.
Here we go. Okay. But I thought that was.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because I was like, damn, I might have to swing over there and check it out. It just depends on what variant we're on and if we have reached like 1.5 million deaths just in the United States at that point in time. If that's where we're at, I'm probably going to take a pass. As much as I love a lot of the toy photographers, I don't like you that much to get to die.
No,
okay,
yeah.
So
understandable.
And really, the more of you stay unvaccinated, the more this thing's going to mutate. It's not rocket science. It's basic. It's literally basic epidemiology.
Epidemiology. My next door neighbor is an
viruses need hosts to live. If we remove hosts, viruses die. It's that simple.
That's why polio is not around anymore.
Well, no, I'm glad you brought that up because you know why polio got taken out? Because that vaccine's not 100% either. It's because everyone back then was like, fucking A, give us the shot. So many people took it that they were able to kill the damn fucking virus. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. It's not about you and your personal freedoms. It's not. It's about doing the right thing for the greater good. With great power comes great responsibility. May the force be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Ben.
All right.
Or maybe somebody else.
Ooh, don't say it.
If you didn't see Spider-Man.
Don't say it. Don't say it. All right, dude. Let's get into this fan segment and put this episode to bed.
All right. So first up, we got the question of the week. As always, we are starting the fan segment. And to get involved in the fan segment, follow us on the Instagram. Check out for Tuesday mornings. That's when Matt posts question of the week on our IG. You drop us either a message response, so into our DMs, respond to the story, or you can respond straight there on the post, and then we will pick some of our favorite responses and we will read them aloud on this podcast. And that's what we're about to do right now. So the question of the week is, what major moment do you think will go down in episode 1 of the book of Boba Fett? All right. First up.
Oh, before we get into this, Perfected Chaos is obsessed with you organizing your lightsabers. So can you add that to your to-do list at some point in time?
Honestly, I just walked in the room because I still have my 2 new Disney Park sabers. Like you can see, like it's hard to see, but those boxes that are right there on this blue thing.
Yeah.
Those are my new. Those are my new saber.
You're getting it. You're doing what I do now. You're collecting shit just to let it sit on your carpet or your floor in a box. Welcome to the club of assholes, pal.
I have to find a better organizational method.
But no, he says here, I'm still dying to know if Nick is actually going to sort a cabinet for his lightsabers. Would be a cool background to see.
I think what I'm gonna do is like this shelf off to my side is going to become like more dedicated to lightsabers than it currently is, because right now there's just like a lot of stuff on it, And I'm probably going to clean up like 2 or 3 shelves of that and then find good ways to display them.
I've always noticed
the hard part is like getting stands.
On the show here, I always sit like I'm the Hunchback of Notre Dame for some reason. Like I'm all bent over like an Ithorian. Like imagine if my back and then up to my head is an Ithorian neck. That's how I sit.
Just like
it's not very ergonomic, as they say. All right, man. Sorry about that. So question of the week. Nick laid it down. Instagram, look for it Tuesdays. Did you read the question?
I read the question. Right, so what is the most, what's the major moment from episode 1 of Book of Boba Fett that you think is going to happen? First up is X_Captain_Chaos_X. He says, interesting question. While I'm sure the show will be amazing, impactful of big moments, how he escapes from the Sarlacc pit, OG trilogy, character cameo, etc. I keep wondering if he comes out of this with his reputation intact, or do they attempt to humanize him?
I thought I saw something like that.
Yes. I need Boba Fett to stay the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy after the show is over. Makes sense? ? So I think that like for people with this take, I think it's going to be your Boba Fett bubble is going to be popped is what I'll say. I don't think that he comes out of this as the most feared bounty hunter in the galaxy because I don't think he wants to be a bounty hunter anymore. Like, I think that that's the whole aim of this show is to shift him from bounty hunter to something greater, something more than just a guy who picks up pucks and then goes and does the job.
And I think you can do that while still keeping oh man. Told you I'm off my diet today. You can keep a fearsome reputation.
Yes.
By becoming a crime lord.
Yeah, agreed. So I think that they can keep the fear, like they said, keep his reputation intact. But I think that you can keep his reputation intact while also just moving away from solely the bounty hunter stuff. And I also think that like having a human element to him is necessary to a degree.
Yeah.
And having a human element to, I don't want to call him an anti-hero. I mean, I guess so. Like having a human element to an anti-hero like Boba Fett and Fennec actually helps their character development a lot. It opens up a lot of different avenues.
Yeah,
that you wouldn't have if he was just like he's the bounty hunter guy. He kills people. He comes back.
Yeah, like you could maybe get an episode out of that, and then it's like, all right, it's like then it just become a rinse and repeat type of show. It'd become a Miller time. It'd be like Star Wars NCIS or Star Wars CIS, CSI Tatooine, where it's the same fucking formula every episode. Episode with no overarching anything. Real quick, questions from the gallery. Yeah, Tones, I have a lot of original Star Wars art from an artist named Jake, I think Detonator. He's a UK guy. I love him. I've been a fan of his for years. He does a lot of like chibi style art naturally. I dig it. And then behind me, if I had a camera, you'd see even more. And if you get those on the stream, if you look kind of where I'm pointing right now, that is one of my favorite pieces. It is Buddha Boba. It's a Buddha wearing a Boba Fett helmet. And those were from my days of being known as the Entertainment Buddha. So it's kick-ass. All right, I'll do a tour of the basement here. But I really, over these 3 weeks of break, if I can get some time, I mean, it's hard when you got a 5-year-old, and I'm not saying I don't love being a dad. I think it's great that I get to spend this time with my little kid, but I also don't get to do any projects that I've been wanting to do where I just need me time. But I have plans to, because all the Funkos I've gotten rid of, a lot of shelf space has opened up in some of the closed parts of the basement where I want to kind of resituate some of the Black Series and then really do up my glass cases with the nice collectibles. So if I can ever get that sorted out, friends, I'll do a grand tour of the thousands, and I'm talking like car dealership amount of money down here in knickknacks and dumb shit that I've bought for my Star Wars love. All right, so I'll get something out there. I want to kind of get more of the collection out and displayed versus in plastic drawers, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, next.
Indeed. Next up, we have dystopian_playgrounds. And he says, I expect some combination of a Sarlacc flashback, OG character return like Bosk or Dengar, and I really hope by the end of the episode we get a distinction on what entity will be the main antagonist of the season. Would also be surprised if we don't hear something about the Hutt cartel or Black Sun being revisited. I know Shadows is Legends now, but come on, Xizor on screen. Everybody, yeah. I mean, Prince Xizor he's been popping up a lot. I think people want to see him in live action, bring him back into the fold.
Was he in a video game too, Nick, or just Shadow of the Empire? Because I remember, I mean, he got figures and everything back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, I have to try to remember Legends now because it's been so long.
But you're not wrong. He's definitely popular. All right, who's next?
Yeah, because I don't remember.
I'll take it.
Next up, Sunset Doom.
You got it? All right,
yeah, go for it. Yeah, I got it. It says, I think we will see a young Luke Skywalker. I'm going to ask a question about that in a second, briefly, but I feel they want to really hook people in with the first episode. Yeah, I mean, the young Luke doesn't really fit in here unless it's like a far back flashback.
Well, yeah, if you get in, you would do you think they would just splice in existing Empire and ROTJ footage then? Like if we get a memory of him dying, or do you think they'd reshoot it from like his point of view of landing on the skiff and getting buffooned?
I think that they want to take that again, right? Like maybe, but it would be hard. It would be. I don't think that we get like the whole how he got in again, because like we've seen it so many times. It's been, everybody's seen ROTJ hundreds of times at this point, so we know that. I think we just get the exit. You'll see, it's almost gonna be like a hover over this Sarlacc mouth, and then however he gets out, it happens. Like whether it be he fucking sets himself on fire and he crawls out and he's on fire, or this thing like fucking pukes him back out because he's on fire, or he jetpacks his way out, whatever it is. But I don't know if Sunset like got Book of Boba confused with another show, but seeing a young Luke Skywalker would have to take you back to like, I mean, it would literally have to take you back to like Andor time period.
Yeah, and I believe Tem has only said that they cover essentially ESB up through Mando timeline.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I do think that they want to hook people in.
Yeah,
obviously,
and they had the big Luke wad blow and Mando. I think if we're gonna get a wad blow at this point, it's probably gonna be like we said earlier, Solo and Baki, Chewbacca. Whenever I say Chewbacca, it reminds me of my days when I used to dip, and I want some Chewbacca. Chewbacca. I love that shit. I mean, it is so nasty.
That was one thing I never got into.
I mean, it literally tastes like someone, and I don't know why I know this taste, but I just assume based on how stalls smell. It when you have it in your mouth, it tastes like someone has not only peed in your mouth, but taken a dump in it too.
Sounds awful.
Plus, there's like all these little like stringy things that get everywhere, and like they're diehard fuckers that swallow their spit. More power to you. You are a man. Like I knew fuckers. Yeah, they would sit like through an entire lecture at Ohio State with a dip in and not spit once. I was like, man, you are a fucking
how do you
superhero somehow? Because it's like,
that's disgusting.
Like I'm just like, I'm just remembering some of the tastes I would get. But I loved it.
That's one thing.
I love chewing tobacco, Nick. It was the pain associated with it. When you could feel it melting your gums. So like after like eating hot food or a Chipotle burrito and throwing in a fat lip, ooh. For you addicts out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
That's the one thing that I'm happy that I dropped more than anything was smoking.
You were a drinker smoker, right? Or were you a smoker?
So like in my like freshman year of college, senior year of high school, I started smoking without alcohol, and then I was able to kick it pretty quickly. Like I only smoked regularly for about 1.5 years or 2 years, and then I kicked it to where I would only smoke when I drink, and now I'm to the point to where I don't even do that. Like it needs to be like an extreme situation for me to want to grab a cigarette from somebody while I'm drinking.
And by extreme, he means he's fucking shit-faced and isn't thinking.
Yeah,
he's like I want that buzz. I want that.
Dude, the last time the last time it happened, it was when me and Taylor were in Italy, and like 3 years ago or 2 years ago, and we were shit faced in Florence.
There you go.
And we were like walking down the street, and we just walked past some Italian guy.
Hey, can I bomb a cigarette?
Exactly. And he was like, fucking American idiot.
You loud assholes.
I was like, look, can I just get, I gave him €1 for 2 cigarettes. And he was like, yeah, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Just get away. And I'm pretty sure that's the last time I smoked a cigarette. It was like 3 years ago. But yeah, I mean, now it's just
I did. I went for the even worse one was dip. I was not I was more of like one of those assholes that would drink and want that little buzz kick, and that's really what the dip would do too. It's all addiction shit. It's all that little brief high. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a fuck up. I don't typically like being in my normal head, so I've had to rely on crutches throughout life to kind of take me out of that space now and then. But yeah, smoking ciggies, dipping, even worse. It's fucking gross. So yeah, just stick to stuff that naturally grows out of the dirt and doesn't require any man-made interaction.
Yeah, like doesn't require you to mix it.
Because I can tell you right now, like tobacco. The shit that grows out of the ground, that's not what you're smoking. You're smoking some of that's dipped in like carbon monoxide, gasoline, kerosene, animal parts, you name it, jet fuel. That's what's in a cigarette, not tobacco leaves. So, stick to the other herb if you need to puff on something.
Indeed.
All right, back to
we got 2 more left. We got 2 more left. And this one is from our good friend Ripik Tan. On the stories, he says, I might crap my pants. That's pretty major. And he says, if I do, maybe you guys will finally get some of that SW toilet art.
Ripik is a diehard. Like, when people know like that little bit of inside info, they listen.
Yeah, he is a diehard. He says, nah, but seriously, tough question. I don't know if we'll get the pit escape in episode 1. I'm thinking they'll reintroduce a character we know in the last moment of the episode, like Boba and Fennec have their meetings and drop some people down in the Rancor pit, and then someone from Boba's past will show up last minute. I don't know who, though. I'm not a strong speculative.
See, this is interesting. Now that we know, we've only seen the trailer footage we've seen is from episode 1's opening minutes, possibly opening half. And we definitely see Boba in a bacta tank, Boba in his white jumpsuit all burned up. So if that's the case, we may be, unless they're going to do a staggered delivery of his escape where it's just like flashes of it in each episode that it's going to tell the full tale by the end of the series. If that's not the case, though, I'm thinking we may get it right away.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because knowing what Robert just said in the interview with THR, and then having also seen the bacta tank scene, definitely sends off the idea that we're going to at least get part of the escape in the first half of episode 1. It would be interesting to see, like, do they just pick it up to where like he's in the bacta tank and then comes out and then he's around whoever he's with the Tuskens or he's somewhere else. There's a lot of different directions.
I know you're not as like hardcore and it's not going to ruin. It's not like someone paid in your Cheerios, but if you don't see specifically him coming out of the hole, is that going to upset you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I definitely want to see the method of escape.
Yeah, there's
like if you're saying that, like if they leave out, like if they just like cut to him, like, oh, he's out and he's with the Tuskens, he's in the fucking desert. No, you need the actual get out of the Sarlacc pit moment to happen.
I still think. I mean, call me crazy, but typically Filoni dribbles shit in on purpose. I still think if there's a Rancor here, which there probably is going to be, I think it's going to be Mooch. I really do. Moochie from Bad Batch. And
with him involved, it's going to be something that even like the tiniest little things they could tie back.
Right.
Like, of course,
he loves doing that stuff, and that's why we love him. So let's just trust the Savior. All right, and then we have one more, right? Yeah, Pixel Rope, our buddy that helped donate for the giveaway here.
There we go. Pixel Rope says, Rancor riding, Jabba's palace taking, Mando armor wearing, Sarlacc surviving champion. Woo!
He did a Ric Flair right there.
Yeah, but he gave us a Ric Flair.
That's what Rancor riding, Jabba's palace taking, a Mando armor wearing, Sarlacc surviving champion. Woo!
Right? That was perfect. That was spot on.
I used to watch a little bit of wrestling.
I think he's nailed a lot of. I mean, the Rancor riding is a definite possibility for.
That's something you would not want to put in the trailer if it's from episode 1. That's for sure.
Yeah, Sarlacc surviving. Yep. Mando armor wearing. Yep. I mean, we checked all the boxes here with this one from.
I like that one. Hey, so you know why you know why I know this is a good man? He's from Pittsburgh.
There you go.
He's a Steelers fan, a Penguins fan, a Pirates fan, so he's a good man. I know it.
Good.
All right. Well,
thank you, fans.
Thank you, fans.
Thank you to everybody who responded. Keep your eyes out on Tuesday. We may not. I mean, this is up to Matt for next Tuesday. We may not do a question next Tuesday. Yeah, I mean, dude,
let's be real. I mean, I know you guys are just fucking with us when you're like, "Oh, we need you," and it's fine. We appreciate it, but I mean, it's holiday week. I think we'd be lucky to get, like, right now we've had 71 playbacks. That's pretty decent for a Tuesday that's also technically a holiday week. But if we do a show next week, it's more than likely going to be a shotgun affair on Wednesday with either me or with us both.
Yeah.
And that's a big if. Like I said, it is really, I'm going to go on how I feel because it's all about my feelings these days. All right.
That's right.
I got to stay emotionally sound and strong. So if I'm not feeling it, we're not doing it. But I have a feeling based on what I think we're going to see, there's a good chance that I'm going to be like, all right, dude, let's do it. And Nick's going to be like, yo, I can't get on till almost 2:30. And be like, all right, I might just go on and puke out stuff real quick for 30 minutes and call it a day. And we'll do a team up next Tuesday in the new year. But stay tuned. This is why you need to follow us on Instagram. You need to be subbed to YouTube, and you need to rate and review on your podcast platform of choice, because then you'll know. All right, or Discord, same place. All right, get with it. At Star Wars Time Show on Instagram. That's also where you can get involved with the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. Hashtag Star Wars Time Show. Tag at Star Wars Time Show. Fuck, I'm about ready to take that requirement off. I can't believe I've gone this long without bitching about what Instagram did. Is anyone else living a nightmare right now after this recent change to Instagram where you get notifications in your Instagram messages if an account tags you? So think about an account like ours where we ask people to tag us, what that turns our messages into. It's a nightmare. It is a living nightmare for someone that is OCD with that little red fucking number on app icons. I can't deal with it. And now I have to go in and essentially have to click on every damn message that says, hey, so-and-so tagged you in a post. So it's like, I don't give a fuck. I can go to the tag section and see who tagged me in the post, you dicks. This is another one where IT people programmers are high. Who wants that? I can't even imagine a mega account that I'm sure they just disable it or give it to an intern. But imagine like a Kim Kardashian or a Billie Eilish. These people that have like millions and millions and millions of subs, and people are tagging them. What the fuck? Like Nick, you can't even go in and do a select all mark as read. You can't even do that. You have to tap on every single notification to clear it. I hate you.
Yep.
Fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg. Eat a dick. All right, let's go.
There we go. All right. So on that note, on the fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg, we're going to kick off the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. And this is going to be potentially the last one for 2021. True. I'm probably still going to do one for next week, honestly. I'll do one for next week.
All right, he's committed to doing the top 5. He said it here, and he said it live.
I've committed. Now, I will say that it may come out later, like a day late, depending on when I get back, because I don't get back home until the 20th.
Might be a day late and $1 short, but it's still coming, so deal with it.
It'll be there. Don't worry about it. So first up this week is at Hira No Rai. New Rai. Right. This is a first-time top 5er, so at HIRA NOURAI, and what we have from him is a shot of Idris Elba's character from Thor. Yeah. What's his name again?
Fucking the guy.
Something
Heimdall.
Right?
Heimdall, right?
Heimdall. That's it.
Heimdall.
So it's
I just said like Heimdall.
I was sitting there fucking last night. I picked this one. I was like, I like it. I like the shot, but I can't remember his character's name. It's Heimdall. He's the one who controlled the Bifrost in Thor. But now Hera has cast him as a Jedi.
I love it.
And you see him flanked by a bunch of awesome muddied up.
Nick, this is all custom here. I mean, every figure here is custom. I mean, you can't buy these clones in stores. They're mocked up, they're painted, they've got extra armor shit on. I mean, it's just a fantastic lineup of customs during the Clone Wars era. And it's that mean looking Jedi, right? I mean, I love this custom Jedi. I don't know if Hera gave him a name or anything in their own post, but Idris with that long braided hair definitely looks great as a Jedi Master. Like,
look, man,
I feel like this guy could kick Mace Windu's ass. I'm going to say it right now.
I love Idris Elba in everything.
Yes.
Like, make the dude fucking James Bond.
Sonic 2, brother. He's Tails. I'm excited.
Yeah. So just fucking look, put Idris Elba in everything. But I really like this shot. I think he did a great job with the mashup between, or like the kit bash with the Heimdall head and then a Jedi body, and then awesome work on the customs here along with it.
Yeah, so, it's just a cool looking squad shot. I call them lineup shots. I dig it. And really, I mean, hey, yeah, it's not like some crazy dynamic posing, but you motherfuckers, you try to stand up. What do we got here? 8-9 figures right next to each other and see how much fun it is. Yeah, see how much fun it is the first time one of these shitheads falls over and then dominoes start to happen. See if you can deal with it. See if you're a normal person that can deal with it, or if you're like me and you start screaming, yelling, spitting, biting, punching, and throwing stuff. Don't be me. Don't be me with this hobby. Hashtag don't be me with toy photography. All right.
There you go. All right. That's at Hira Nourai. HIRANOURAI on Instagram. Go give him a follow. Next up, we have at art_troopers_Chicago has a fantastic
Die Hard and Star Wars.
Die Hard mashup, man. So what you see is, I mean, basically, it's a scene from Die Hard played out in Star Wars. You have the guard, one Imperial trooper that's been fucking taken care of, and on his chest says, "Now I have a blaster." Ho ho ho.
I love that part of that movie.
And then dude, it's great too, because the guy. So Art Trooper Chicago has Mando perfectly hidden above that grate.
He's up in the grate.
And if you're not looking for it, you can easily miss that. And even if you miss it, the shot is still awesome.
I'm not gonna lie, I just noticed Mando there right now. Like, I didn't even see it when I featured it last week.
Oh man, dude, it makes it that much more engaging. You know, having Mando up there looking down and seeing that. The angle of the shot's great. The setup of the shot's great. The posing, specifically of the guy of the dead Imperial, is just spot on.
Now I want to see the Yippee-Ki-Yay motherfucker follow up next. That's what I want.
I know, right? You need to finish that off. Art Trooper Chicago, if you're listening, you need to make
this is great. This is great. It's a fantastic mashup of like a completely different genre of film, but it works so well. And I just noticed Mando up there in the ductwork, and that's the cherry on top. Job well done.
Next level.
Yeah, it's great.
Type of shit there. So at art_troopers_Chicago on the IG. Fantastic job on the Die Hard Star Wars mashup.
That's right.
All right. Next up, we have Photog Raffi back here. Photog.Raffi. And this is just an awesome, Photog Raffi is he's a great compositor, it seems. I mean, all of his other, a lot of his other work that we've featured too is really good in the composite zone. And what we see here is it's a game between, it's hard to tell who's playing against who. It seems like it's Vader and the Dark Troopers versus just the normal stormtrooper.
Yeah, so I think those are shadow troopers. I don't ever think the variant's been shown in a like live action, but yeah, it's like the black armor wearing Imperials versus the white armor wearing Imperials playing a game of footy. Great, footy. You know, our audience over the international audience, right? Footy or football. Football. This is like the field day for the Imperials. If you've ever worked in a like a corporate structure, there's always some sort of like day away, field day, whatever they call it, like a corporate retreat, something like that. So this is the Imperial corporate retreat where everybody gets together and plays some soccer. I just love the shot. I mean, anytime you put Star Wars in something that Star Wars shouldn't be, like a soccer stadium, it just, I don't know. I guess that's the power of Star Wars. It just looks fucking cool. If this fit in anywhere. If this was a shot of Ronaldo or Messi, it'd be like, all right, who gives a shit? But it's Darth Vader, kicking the Death Star soccer ball. I kind of really like how the goalie is like right in your face in terms of the perspective and where the framing's at. And then just great poses, and as Nick said, the compositing work to get all these different pieces together and look like they are in this scene. 2 thumbs up. Yeah, absolutely. 2 thumbs up to @photog. Yeah, the posing is just absolutely insane. Just so good. Good shit. I also like how the ball is the Death Star. Oh yeah, it's great stuff, man. I'm telling you, these toy photographies these days, you never know what you're gonna get. The level of creativity and ability it seems to get better and better and better with each new season of photography. Indeed it does. All right, @photography on the IG. Go give them a follow. Next up, our Christmas shot for this top 5. Yep. We have this one from @BoozyManChild, and it was just too good. It's too good. You can make this into a Christmas card, send it to your parents. So what we have here is Mando with the Santa hat on and little Grogu, instead of wearing his burlap sack, he's wearing his Santa suit, his Santa burlap sack. And it's so wholesome. Little Grogu reaching up towards Papa Mando. He's got his little, the little knob, the shifter knob in his hand, giving it to him for, here's your Christmas present. It's like the Star Wars universe's version of a dreidel. Yeah. Although that would be for Hanukkah, so I guess it doesn't make sense at all, but you get it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's the life day. It's the life day version. Nah, dude, I mean, we've gotten tagged in a lot of Star Wars shots, and there's been some other great ones. I think Mando mug shots have had some fun ones and some others, but this one just, like you said, it could almost go on an album cover for a Star Wars Christmas album. Like it has one of those feels to it. I could see it in a CD jewel, but I don't know. It feels ultra festive. It looks right. Like it looks like they actually are celebrating, and there is Christmas in Star Wars. I kind of like the oversaturated lighting with the different color tones in there. And it's a wonderful shot of Mando and his ward before he gave him away to some stranger in a black robe. Some strange mystical creature. Right. Some space wizard. He's like, Din goes from being fearful and hateful of the Jedi to be like, all right, here you go. Take him. He's like, yeah, you can take him. Take him. Whatever. So there you go. So @BoozyManChild, make sure to go follow. Awesome Christmas. Fantastic handle too, by the way. I mean, Boozy Manchild, that is pretty fantastic. That is great. Top notch handle. And we're going to close out the top 5 this week with @ArtBLNK, Art Blank. And I mean, this is I'm pretty sure it's a Photoshop job, but this, I mean, I don't know. It's the colors. It's the way that the figures are positioned. So what we're looking at is a shot. I don't even know how to break this one. I mean, it feels like a real ass paint, like an art piece. There's like some Phase Runner vibes to it. If you remember Phase Runner's work. When I first saw it, I thought it was Phase Runner, and when I opened it, it wasn't. I was like, wow, this guy. You know what it could be? I don't think it's figures. It just could be, these artists these days. I don't know if you call it digital artistry or something, where you take various assets from other work and then composite them all together to create a new work of art. Yeah, so that's what Blank
calls himself a digital artist.
Hey, look at that!
And really, that's what's at work here. And look, this is one thing I'm gonna call out. That's like very small detail in this, but I think it actually helps make your primary figures pop. And it's that slight white stroke that's around the storm or the Star Destroyer, Kenobi, and the TIE fighters. So what we're seeing is like a scene where Kenobi's standing on kind of like a grassy hill in a mountainous landscape, and it's a stormy day. You see lightning, crackling, dark clouds, and then through the dark clouds is emerging a Star Destroyer flanked by 4 Imperial TIE fighters. And then you just see Kenobi there, saber ignited, almost like he's just like centering himself for a coming battle. But I don't know. It's just like everything in this just pops so well, and the elements stand out in a way that just draws you into this image like almost immediately.
Yeah, I mean, it could serve as a poster for Kenobi. There's no doubt about it. You put some verbiage on there. You put the logo, the credits, and it's a Kenobi poster. It as Perfected Chaos is saying here, it's got a very moody feel to it.
Yes, exactly. So I loved it. It caught my attention right away. Like you said, it made me think it was Phase Runner. So I was like, oh yeah, Phase Runner's back in the feed, but it's not. It's at Art, ARTBLNK on the IG. He's the last member of our top 5 for this week. Congratulations. That's the top 5. And that's the end of the show. It may be the last one for 2021.
Could be. You never know.
But we don't know.
That's why you got to stay tuned. And as Joe, our buddy Klondike, answered it for you, Nick, it is Rim Light, also known as a rim job.
Okay? Oh, yes.
All
yes. Right. I've heard of those before.
They're my favorite. All right, as Nick said, the show's over. 193 is going to bed. Will we get 194 in 2021? You just will never know. Or you could come around and follow us on our other platforms, and maybe we'll leave some secrets, some breadcrumbs out there so you can make your way back to the show before the calendar rolls another year to 2022, which at some point in time will be discussed as being worse than 2021 and 2020, because that is just the state of the world these days. So don't think 2022 is going to be any better, okay? Here's your pessimist to tell you to piss in your Cheerios right before we make the switch. 2022 is not going to get any better. But it might. If you go over to StarWarsTime.net and subscribe to the Star Wars Time Show. Woo! We also keep all of our articles of interest over there. If we do anything and put it out on our YouTube, it'll go over on StarWarsTime.net as well. But more importantly, for any new fans, new listeners, new watchers, you can find all of our podcast platforms. And like we said earlier, if you are a Spotify listener, they just added ratings and reviews. Please drop one on there to help us out on that platform, as well as if you're on iTunes, Google, and any other podcast platform that elicits or asks for some form of feedback on this dumb little show. That also includes YouTube. The best way to tell YouTube you love us is keep adding subscribers. I don't know if some of my bitching and moaning has been paying off, but we're over 900. Let's keep it going. Let's get that to 1,000. If you're not subscribed, check right now and make sure to hit that button. If you are watching the live stream, give us some thumbs up, leave a comment, give us a pat on the ass like your old ball coach used to. We need it. It makes us feel special. You know what I mean? Especially me. The Tinkerbell mantra is always intact with the angry one on the Star Wars Time Show. If you don't know what that is, remember how, she needs clapping and laughing, and that helps her to be happy and fly? Yep, I'm the same way. I am like a little princess with wings. But the reason we want you to do is because we know, I know, Nick knows, Perfected Chaos knows, Klondike Studios knows, Tones1138, Grey Goose Snaps, Liam, they all know that there's always time for Star Wars Time. We're just trying to convince more people of our mantra. There's always time for Star Wars Time. Just keep it going. Keep the reviews coming. Convince your grandma at Christmas. Convince your grandpa at New Year. You know they need something to listen to if they're sitting in the old folks' home. There's nothing going on anyways in their heads anymore. Just put our show on for them. They'll love it. Be like, oh, look at those two cute little boys and their beards. And what's all that stupid stuff they talk about? What is this Star Wars after all? See? Then you can go to home and have a good conversation about episode 200. You never know. Are you going to stick around into 2022? We hope so. Go over to StarWarsTime.net, because if you listen to the Star Wars Time show, the Force will be with you always.